6 o'clock, good Monday morning, live from the Circus Sports of Mid-Kentucky Down Studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Rory Mroy is Masters champion once again, becoming the fourth all-time to win the Masters in back-to-back seasons, and first to do it since... He shot 11 under Saturday and finished second. Scotty Scheffler did. The Nashville Predators kept their playoff hopes alive after a 2-1 win over the Minnesota Wild on Saturday. Steven Stamkos and Matthew Wood tallied the goals for the Predators, and Justus Anonen made 21 saves in the win. The Predators had just 2 games remaining on back to the ice tonight to face the San Jose Sharks with the 7 o'clock puck drop at Bridgestone Arena. Nashville Soccer Club, they remain atop the East standings in the MLS play with 16 points after a 2-1 win over the Charlotte FC Saturday night. Eddie Tagseth and Patrick Gazbach scored for Nashville. Next up is the second leg of the CONCACAF Champions Cup quarterfinals against Club America tomorrow night in Mexico City. First kick is at 10:30 p.m. Central. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once, and you're home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into your Monday morning and a brand new week on 104.5 The Zone. Good morning and welcome in. 615-737-1045 is the number. We stream the show live on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. A spring game happened and we had boots on the ground. A microphone on the ground, if you will. Ramon Foster was there for the Vol Network broadcast. We'll talk about it since it wasn't televised. And it feels like something that we have insider knowledge on. So we'll spend a lot of time on that this morning. Stony Keely scouts linebackers with us at 7:20 today. And voice of the Vols, Mike Keith, stops by at 8:20. It's like the first day that Mike's not had a practice to go to, I would imagine, in quite some time. And he's decided to spend the morning with us. Stream it live on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch on this Monday, April the 13th. Good morning.
Hey,
how we doing?
We're good, man. Welcome back, everybody. Busy weekend for you, big weekend for you as well, and for myself included. The spring game was, I thought, pretty solid. Going through it, of course, leaving out of it, I was just like, this is just a big glorified scrimmage or practice for that matter.
Sure was.
It was a big practice, but big time weekend though. You had spring game, of course. You called a big track and meet in Knoxville. You saw my niece, by the way, who didn't give me the heads up that she was going to be in Knoxville. Well, she probably didn't know Unc was going to be in Knoxville either. But that's neither here nor there. We did connect and communicate with one another, though. My niece runs track at Marshall University, which is kind of cool, really cool, by the way. And, of course, big golf weekend as well. I sat down yesterday from almost the beginning of the broadcast.
Did you?
To the end. Me, my youngest, and my oldest had different spells of watching it together. My youngest, I saw somebody post yesterday, top 10 nap events on Sundays, whatever it was. The Masters, I think, was number 1, and my youngest caught a cold-blooded nap yesterday during it.
It's the best way to do it.
While I watched, of course.
You take a nap during the opening tee times, and you wake up right around the time the leaders are headed out there.
Yeah. He woke up towards the end. We were watching Rory and stuff like that. But it was a really good day yesterday. Made end up grilling some steaks, too, yesterday.
Oh, all right.
So had a cool Sunday. You know, one of those days you're like, we got up and went to church yesterday, and it turned out to just be one of those nice weather days, and you don't want to waste it by being inside. I think Keisha was going to cook something else, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to grill some steaks today. She was like, sure, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was the quickest turn I've ever seen, Will, but yesterday wasn't one of those days you wanted to waste inside at all.
It's true. Unless you're wasting it inside watching the Masters, because I don't think I went outside at all yesterday.
I watched it on the patio.
Well, not all of us have patio watching ability. Rory McIlroy wins the Masters despite squandering a 6-stroke lead in Saturday's third round. He briefly lost the lead again yesterday, and just like last year, posted a double bogey early in the round, but went 71, 1 by 1 stroke at a 12 under 276. So many birdie putts for Scotty Scheffler would have had him in a playoff. Rory said it after his round about how, he did his part, kind of, but no one really made a run at him this year, the way Justin Rose did last year. And despite all that, Rory stands with the green jacket at the end of the day once again, the second straight season. Of course, the second straight Masters win. Becomes only the fourth golfer in the last 40 years to hold a lead or co-lead after each round of the Masters. Sixth major championship victory, second most now among all European golfers, and the fourth ever to go back-to-back, the first since Tiger Woods in 01-02. It was all Rory's weekend, the entire weekend.
Yes, it was. It absolutely was. I saw most of Sunday. I followed lightly over the week from Thursday to Sunday. Even Rory in his championship sit down. He was just like, yeah, I did most of my leg work on, Thursday and Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. He really crushed it from there. Looking at Scotty lost it on, 15 or 16 yesterday, too?
He birdied both 15 and 16.
And it was 18.
It was 17. He barely missed a putt. And then 18, he had a bad approach. And on that false front at the front of the green, he just didn't get enough on it. And that's the best part of Scotty's game is his approach and wedges. This year, typically he is first in strokes gained from the approach perspective.
Yeah.
And this year he's ranked in the 80s on tour in that. He just hasn't had the same touch around the greens that he usually has.
Insane. I thought Russell Henley was going to make a push towards the end as well. But to your point a second ago, nobody wanted to, run up on Rory at all. And I got to give Rory credit, too. Considering what I learned out about him last year, him not being able to close it out. He did it 2 years in a row. Because, again, on the 18th, and he's got a 2-stroke lead, he goes deep into the second. What do they call it? Second grass, whatever it is. It was in a
second cut.
Second cut.
Yeah.
He was deep in it. Had to shoot over a tree that was on 10 as well and actually put it exactly where he needed it to be. He bounced back, I thought yesterday, pretty cool. And watching him just continually have poise, it does show again when you've been in this spot before, you know how to handle it. And Rory, I think yesterday displayed that often. As you said, early in the round wasn't good for him at all. I thought, of course, Justin Rose was going to jump on him. Did not. He did. But then he just folded. I'm watching each and every one of them just fold between Russell Henley, Justin Rose, Cam Young. Folded.
I mean, it was truly a who's who of guys who just couldn't make the big putt and could not make a run. Russell Henley, another one.
Yeah.
Who was excellent yesterday, but just wasn't able to put enough putts together to put a low enough number on the board to make up for Rory's advantage.
It could not.
And then at that point, and this is where it makes such a big difference, having a 2-shot lead late in the Masters. You have the ability to play safe, and then you avoid the blow-up hole. Mm-hmm. That's the thing that's happened to Jordan Spieth in 2016. It happened to Rory McIlroy time and time again. That's the concern at Augusta is, are you going to go for it on the second 9 and find pine straw or water, find Rays Creek that is kind of winding between all those holes between 11 and 13 and the water on 15 right in front of the green there. And Rory, who struggled to drive all weekend, really, really, really poor driving performance, figured it out about a third of the way through his Sunday round. And at that point, you knew that either the driver or the putter was going to have to pick him up. Mm-hmm. And if both got going, nobody else was going to be able to win. Unless Scotty Scheffler just put up a 63, which, again, was in range yesterday. He certainly had a lot of the shots to do it. He just went par for basically the entire back 9 until the par 5 15th that he made a long putt. But Rory McIlroy just avoided the big disaster. And that's the thing you've got to do with a lead on Sunday at the Masters. Until his tee shot at 18 when he was in the pine straw and in the forest, literally. But it's almost like he hit it so far right in the forest that it was able to give him a window to find a bunker. And then at that point, once you're in the bunker, as long as the lie's decent, you're in decent shape there.
No doubt. And it was kind of cool watching because when it went in, I'm thinking to myself, Rory, don't do this. You got a 2-shot lead right now. There is no way we're about to have a shoot-off at the end of this thing with him and Scheffler. But, of course, that would have led to the most dramatic finish I think we've seen in a very long time. I wanted it
so badly. And, I love Scotty Scheffler I love sports teams. I truly Scotty is one of my favorite athletes, just period, in any sport. I was rooting hard for him.
It was fascinating, though, too, watching how some guys just, I'm using the word folded, but like crumbled. I'm looking at how Tong Lee, turning it on Sunday.
How Tong Lee had a rough day. Really rough day.
I think he was 7th, going into it, 5th at one point in time. And he ended the day yesterday +2 over it. And I'm thinking to myself, how?
He made a 10 on 13.
I'm looking at, 10 on 13. 10 on 13. And beforehand, he ended up getting a 6 on 12, which is a par 3 itself. And just did not finish well at all. You saw him at the end of the broadcast, and he was just not good. I mean, shot an 80 on Sunday when he'd been consistently a 72, 69, and a 69.
He was the most relatable golfer on the grounds this week.
Oh, my goodness.
It literally looked like there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I could shoot like a 110 there. Like, nah.
110?
How Tong Lee shot an 80, man. Like, there were so many shots. He even had a putt from off the green. Well, part of the reason why he made the 10.
Yeah.
He had a putt from off the green that he put into the water because he couldn't just get it to stop. Like, it's truly, I forget who it was, but there's a quote that says, putting on the greens at Augusta is like putting in your bathtub.
Get out of here.
That's how fast it is.
Man, that just looking at it. So I had what our broadcast guys this weekend with Vol Network. Philip Noel watches it, and I asked him. We were talking about the Masters and stuff. It was on during the spring game, so I'm asking them questions about it. As I'm trying to learn more and more golf or whatever. And he was just telling me, one, you have to go. I was like, really? It was like, you have to go listen to him. I'm like, okay, I will at some point in time. But he just said the way you speaking about the greens, they manipulate nature out there for the most part.
Yeah, right? and that was actually a really big talking point over the weekend, and I'm getting a little inside baseball here, but I'll make it as simple as I can for those of you who are in the weeds on this. But you're right. And Thursday morning, Rory McIlroy went out there and took the lead on a soft golf course. And talk about manipulate nature, they're overwatering everything to soften up the golf course a little bit. Well, when it's so hot and when there's wind, it firms up.
Tightens up.
And then it becomes even tougher to hold a green. So if I've got a 150-yard shot with my 9-iron from the middle of the fairway, earlier in the day when the golf course is softer, that ball's going to stick and land right there and stop. And then I've got a putt. Well, later in the day for Scotty, Thursday afternoon, it was so firm because it was so hot, it dried up, and the ball's not sticking. It's rolling off the back of the green. So then you got a chip instead of a putt. Well, so what they did on Friday was they saw how difficult it was for Scotty on Thursday afternoon. Said, hey, look, this is too difficult. We're going to water it even more. So they made it softer for the entire day. And Scotty's like, wait a minute. That's a competitive advantage for the guys who had Thursday morning, Friday afternoon versus the Thursday afternoon, Friday morning guys. And Scotty knows. He was like, look, I shot a 74 on Friday morning when it was soft. Like, he knew he had himself to blame, but the manipulation of the course and of nature and and you're right, for so many different perspectives, even just for the divots they fill back in. There is a spot on the property where they're just a bunch of shoveled out holes in the grass. That way they're filling in tee box divots, which is insane. But
I've seen this done on our practice fields, though. They do it on practice fields in the NFL because, to your point, this is a full-time grounds crew. Did you hear about or have there been conversation about Rory's comments after this win as well?
He's made a lot of comments. Which ones are you talking about?
About him being able to. His carbon footprint is terrible.
Yep. We're gonna talk about
that?
it.
Oh my!
I heard it. He doubled down yesterday too.
Yeah,
he's talked about it twice.
He did, but
about flying to Augusta almost every day for the last 3 weeks to play the Augusta National Course. Must be nice.
Which is insane to me on a $50 million jet, whatever the price is. But I did think it was fun. We were texting during it. I had all my guys I knew that was in the golf watching as well. I sat on the back porch. I don't want to make it seem like it was some glorified patio. It was sat on the back porch, man, smoked a cigar, and watched it on Sunday. And I'll be quite honest with you, it was a great it was a great watch. Just as I dived more and more into it. Justin Rose,
One day. He's finished second 3 times.
I mean, between him and Cameron Young, and I got to be real. Cameron Young and I thought Rory's pairing was as good as you get. When Cam was hot, Rory was kind of fading a little bit. It kept you intrigued with what was going on. I felt like throughout golf, if you watch it the way I do, and that's, from time to time, the Masters is what it is. And I get why folks are deeply into it as well.
It's perfect.
I got one gripe, couple probably. When they're walking to the next, to the next shot, the amount of people just holding out their hands like, he don't know you. Did you see the lady on 18 when Rory was hitting it in the rough? Or in the second cut?
No, what happened?
Some lady, and it's out there just soon as he hit it, he clears it. She's about to run up to him, and like the security is like, yo, back the hell up. Like it was, lady, you don't know Rory. Don't be running up on him like this, man. But it was funny, like, Will, it's crazy everybody missed or you didn't see it. But soon as he hits the shot, she's like running up there, and Buddy's like, whoa, back it up.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, and there's supposed to be no running at Augusta.
Yeah. Like, you don't know.
Well, there's less of that happens there of any other major, too. I mean, wait till you see the U.S. Open and the crowd that you get there. The PGA. Yeah, it is the tamest crowd there is because they will literally – the eye in the sky will find you and throw you out.
Yeah.
Like, truly. Will throw you out if you do anything that's not civilized.
So they got probably
as
like
patrons.
A security geofence around everything.
I can see you down that rabbit hole if you want to.
I heard
if you bought third-party tickets, like they will literally find you and be like, how'd you get these tickets?
Yeah, right.
You can't go with like a third-party bought ticket.
If I get Ticketmaster tickets?
You cannot. They will literally, when you get there, they will not let you go, and then they will like Xerox your... Is that do people Xerox things anymore?
We don't do it.
They'll scan your license and you'll never be able to go again.
I had no idea.
Oh yeah, big thing.
I heard no insects, mosquitoes, flies, none of that. Also,
and no phones.
And no phones. Yeah, that's one thing I pointed out to my youngest. Like, look at the crowd. Nobody's got a phone because it was the close up on Rory's second cut shot right there. Nobody's filming a thing right there.
Shout out to Voice of the Titans, Taylor Zarzer on the Sirius XM call. Listen to him a lot over the weekend with Kevin Kisner. They crushed it. Man, I'd never listened that much to golf on the radio, and it was awesome.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
It's good to have him filling in for Mike Tirico. It was awesome.
No doubt.
He crushed it.
No doubt.
Coming up, the Tennessee spring game happened. If a spring game happens and no one watches it, does it really happen? The answer is yes, because Ramon Foster watched it. And we'll talk about what happened coming up next.
Go on the pros, go Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply to take care of your lawn and to take care of your equipment around the house. Will Bowling, joined by my good friend Trey Hartsook. Trey, maybe folks want to get that new lawnmower, or maybe they just want to get their current ones fixed. How can the service department at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply help?
Well, it's really the backbone of every Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply is the service department. We have the best mechanics, and I really do believe that in all the Middle Tennessee area that work for us here at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. We're big on being efficient. We're big on making it easy. And we're big on making it clear when you pick your machine up, what was the problem, what did we fix, and what to look for going forward. Those are things that are really important to us. Something else that we offer, Will, the pickup and delivery service. Like maybe you're a homeowner that doesn't have a trailer, doesn't have a way to get that machine to us. That's not a problem. We'll come out there, we'll pick it up, we'll bring it back here, we'll get it repaired, and we'll get it back to you in a timely fashion. Give us a call. We're conveniently located all over Middle Tennessee. Got locations in Nashville, Hendersonville, Murfreesboro, Bellevue, Brentwood, Lamar, Mount Juliet, and Franklin. If you can't get a hold of us, check us out online, DickensSupply.com.
Monday morning on Ramon and Will, 615-737-1045. How you jump in. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling at Ramon and Will on Twitter. So the orange and white game, Ramon, is, as you mentioned, a glorified open practice.
Yeah.
And it's not on TV. Nobody wants tampering because obviously if it's on SEC Network, every coach in the country is tuned in, and they're just going to try to start poaching your players. There's some teams that they've put players' phone numbers and agents' phone numbers up. That way they can more easily enter the portal. I'm kidding, obviously. What was your number one takeaway as someone who was there and able to watch the orange and white game?
I think people will be pleasantly surprised with the defense. I thought the defense from every level, the secondary to me, with as many questions that they had last year, the safeties and corners, they stuck to the wide receivers. They created chaos. They, for the most part, controlled the narrative on the quarterbacks being able to throw down the field. I think they were so good on man-to-man and running, with the wide receivers that the quarterbacks, almost all of them except for Ron Staub, he completed a deep pass earlier in the scrimmage at the orange and white game. Other than that, nothing went over the top, not even a little bit. Looking at the discipline of guys in their assignments where they were supposed to be in their zones, linebackers dropping where they were supposed to be at, it was good. The pass defense to me was good. And I can't say that was good without acknowledging the front seven as well, or the front four, front five, that they were, asking to blitz and get after the quarterback of the run game as well. The defense to me, I thought, was the biggest takeaway of all things that happened in the spring game. Now, of course, the storyline of the quarterbacks, Faison Brandon and also George McIntyre, is a big storyline. But as far as watching the performance of what the Vols orange and white game was, I walked away as an offensive guy and said, yeah, I see why Jim Knowles brought his guys as coaches. I see why he brought so many players that he knew and was familiar with. For as complicated as everybody said a Jim Knowles defense was, I'm shocked at how those guys were able to execute it. And I don't think it's because the offense was super, it was behind that much. I don't think so at all. Their intent and just, I felt like the way they moved fast was on display this past week. And that's the one takeaway I feel like a spring game was able to give me.
What specifically was different about the defense and the scheme from Jim Knowles?
He had 4 guys at the line of scrimmage, 5 guys at the line of scrimmage, 6 guys at the line of scrimmage, 7 at the line of scrimmage. And here's the thing. They would drop back and pressure would come from the outside slot. 2 of the linebackers would drop back and one of them would blitz up the middle. There seems to be, to me, pressure at almost every single play from a different angle. You didn't know where it was coming from. It will complicate. It should. I will say this. It should complicate offenses for this defense that they're going up against. That's the way I view it as well, because you don't know where the heat is going. And the thing about it, usually when you send heat, there's usually a blank space somewhere on the field where quarterbacks can find an answer. I didn't see it because everybody to a T seemed like they were as disciplined as they should be as far as getting to their zone. I saw Jeremiah T-Lander, be at the line of scrimmage, run like a hook zone where he's pretty much up and back into the flats. And that's where the quarterback wanted to throw the ball to. It was covered up. And T-Lander's not your elite coverage linebacker. But you saw those guys be in the spots they were supposed to. The pocket breakdown, quarterbacks get outside the pocket. Saw Faison. He's got real good legs, by the way, too. Not running legs, never mind. He's got real good legs when it comes down.
That's what you mean.
Yeah, I know. But I say he's got real good legs like he's a leg model or something. Oh. Excuse how my mind
before
works.
7 in the morning. We're talking ball. It's okay.
I know. I've had only 2 sips of coffee. He's got good wheels is what I'm getting at. And even then, guys were able to pursue down the line of scrimmage. They didn't allow that flagrant, just non-contested ball over the middle to a tight end or to a drag receiver that was running with the quarterback. It was buttoned up. Even in the spring game performance, I felt like from the Vols defense. And that to me is where I felt like Georgia snake bitten the Vols. You had Ty Simpson last year snake biting the Vols in situations like that. Just John Mateer at Oklahoma, time and time again, would find guys down the field. You just we got to tighten this up. And I feel like watching Jim Knowles' secondary work and the way the linebacker was able to get after you was legit. Jaden Harmon is fast. He's good. It was
Young inside linebacker.
Yes, young inside linebacker. That group is elite. Coach Inge really does have a problem on his hand, and it's a good one.
I think the challenge of practice and playing yourself so much this time of year in college and in the late summer in the NFL is the context of which one side of the ball is succeeding. Is your defense really good because your offense stinks? Is your defensive line getting after the quarterback because your offensive line can't protect? On the flip side, are you able to run the ball because your run defense is behind? These are questions we ask ourselves every practice of every team. I remember last year thinking, like, is the Titans offense not very good, or is the Titans defense just much improved? And obviously we have to wait until games are really being played to get a lot of these answers. And I do think it's even more different in college because we are still so far from week one. And, good morning. Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Temperatures are, where are the temperatures? I wanted the full update.
Hey, she sounds like she's just not waking up.
What's going on back there?
I have no idea. This Knoxville news is supposed to
hello, good morning.
This Knoxville news was supposed to be over this weekend, and it is still playing.
Knoxville news? We have Knoxville news in Nashville?
Yeah, something about Knoxville. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But we talked to engineering, said it was gone, spotted it back up. Nope, it's still there.
Oh, okay.
Still there.
Lovely.
They love us so much, they're going to listen to us.
Should we trade info back to them? Should we trade Nashville news?
All right, go ahead.
Good morning. It is 6:31 here on 104.5 The Zone from your Middle Tennessee Cumulus Nashville studios. The Tennessee football team played the orange and white game over the weekend. Well, I guess that's still Knoxville too, technically.
That's still Knoxville as well.
That's Nashville's team,
SC?
but Nashville Soccer Club over the weekend beat Charlotte FC 2-1.
There we go.
As Patrick Asbeck and Eddie Taxett scored goals.
Let's see.
Elsewhere, I don't know what elsewhere. I was in Knoxville all weekend. So
I was too. Same.
If it wasn't golf or at a track meet that I was doing, I don't know what it was. That's whatever. It's fine. Things happen.
Technology stuff happens.
But what I was saying is, like, there's so much time between now and week one. And what I found interesting about this spring was something that Brent Hubbs wrote at VolQuest about how Jim Knowles and the defense has thrown everything at George and Faison. And there is no watering things down to give them a little bit of a confidence boost.
None.
And Brent Hubbs wrote about this. He said, some head coaches choose to place rules on their coordinators on things they can run in practice or in scrimmage settings. Josh Heupel and quarterbacks coach Joey Halzle don't subscribe to that theory, and neither does Jim Knowles. The result is that the veteran defensive coordinator has thrown the kitchen sink at Tennessee's quarterbacks for the last 4 weeks. The signal callers believe it has benefited them all, but admit it's been challenging. George McIntyre is quoted as saying, Coach Knowles has really mastered disguise. Mm-hmm. He says, I'd also say that with a new defense, there's very minimum complete bust. The second half of spring ball, they really got good at disguising pressures, and we had to really understand our protections and where we're hot. He said pre-snap thoughts, post-snap confirmation. If you're not getting that every single time with Coach Knowles' defense, there's no guessing. You really have got to be right. Faison Brandon said, I would really say the different coverages definitely make us better. It's made us have to be on top of our game with the checks and knowing where to put our eyes. I think that's important context to understand that the result of what happens play to play requires context and requires a pre-snap picture and a post-snap confirmation that obviously we're not getting unless we know what the plan is and we know how much Joey Halzle and Jim Knowles have worked together to say, let's try to trip up the quarterback a little bit. Let's let him have a day.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're totally blind and it's like a game setting to where you're calling your stuff, he's calling his stuff, and quarterbacks figure it out.
Yep.
There is a large learning curve happening here, and I think there maybe isn't as large of a learning curve, Ramon, on defense because of the amount of players who already know this system and came over from Penn State with Jim Knowles. That is reason enough as it is for the defense to start a step ahead, and then you factor in the fact that these quarterbacks haven't played it all. And that's reason to expect the defense to be 2 steps ahead.
This is a defensive player's playground. It is a haven for guys that want to be aggressive. Will, it is a safe spot, okay? If your safe word is pineapples, you want to go to a Jim Knowles defense, okay?
Wow.
Just
Pineapples.
Go with him.
Interesting.
Whatever.
Okay.
You can go tangerine. Swap.
Pineapples for a specific reason?
This just is old Kevin Hart joke. It's like when it's too much, just yell pineapples. That's my safe word.
Okay.
If your safe word is pineapples, you can go to Jim Knowles.
So if you're getting blitzed, you can just yell pineapple and their quarterback's no longer live?
And he will allow you to go blitz as well.
That would have been great to have in Columbus the last time Tennessee played a Jim Knowles defense.
Listen. Exactly.
Maybe Nico would still be a Vols.
Maybe his helmet wouldn't have got cracked, right?
On second thought, I don't want that either.
No, legit, you don't know where it's coming from. Like, you read that from Hub's article, and I hadn't seen it. That's exactly what it looks like. So here's the thing about playing against an aggressive defense. It's a couple things that can happen. One, it forces you to grow up fast. It forces you to understand everything that's happening around you, because those mess ups is some stuff that you either have to be really good at adjusting at or find ways to beat it the next time that you're out there. So whenever you get to the games, teams can't throw the entire kitchen sink at you every single time. Like, I feel like what college does and NFL doesn't really allow like that is allows you to really just fail in the spring and correct it in the fall. I guess they kind of do it with minicamp and OTAs, but with physicality, like, you can legitimately get to the quarterback and tackle people in college in spring. The other part it could do with how much they're sending at these young quarterbacks. Let's just use them. The offensive line's in this conversation as well. If you're not right-minded and okay, and I say this with a lot of respect because I think sports need to have this. If you're a player and you're not okay with failure, adjusting to failure, adjusting to bad plays, this will ruin your confidence. This will make you feel like you can't play football or what you're doing is not good enough. And what you need to recognize when you're playing against defenses like this or players like this or you're a young guy like this is you do get better. You just need to recognize the good in the process that Coach Jim Knowles has sent to you. I went through this numerous times, okay, with Chief, our Coach Chavis, who's the defensive coordinator for the Vols when I was in school. He didn't care about you being young. You're going to get hit in the face. Dick LeBeau and that defense I went against in Pittsburgh each and every day, they don't care about your feelings. If you get it correct, you better grow up fast and learn how to adjust to it. It forces you, Will, and listeners, to grow fast. And I'm hoping that's what it does for George and Faison because, again, as that article from Hubs pretty much laid it out for you, you don't know where the pressure's coming from. And that, to me, is the ace in the hole, I feel like, going into the season. If everybody stays healthy, and surprisingly as well, too, the D-line, which we hadn't talked a whole lot about for this Vols defense, was very good. I will say Coach Rodney Garner is still in charge. One guy jumped off sides, number 93. I forget his name off the top. I think he's a transfer. Jumped offside, gave the offense first down, snatched them the very next play. Come on over here and sit with me if you can't stay on the side of the ball you need to. But I was impressed by the defense. Now, very impressive things, too, by the quarterbacks as well.
Jordan Norman, the edge rusher, he transferred from Tulane, number 93.
Yeah, he jumped off. He's intense, by the way. I like him.
Yeah, I've read good things about Jordan Norman.
I like Jordan Norman.
Where does the quarterback battle stand at this point? Do you have any clearer picture on who the week one starter is?
Even leaving it. I will say it's exciting watching Faison, but we've never seen Faison. If you get
never seen George?
I've seen him a little bit.
Like 8 passes.
Yeah, but I saw him in the spring and stuff too. Still.
I think the biggest thing for me at quarterback from everything we've read and heard is I just now have a cloudier picture on who it's going to be. I don't know. I probably went into this about 75 to 80% sure George is going to be the starter, and now I think it's a total toss-up. And that's not to say that George has totally thrown away that lead. I think there's also elements of Faison playing his way into a more legitimate conversation. I just think it's probably based on our perceptions of things based off of the way things have happened in the past and how Heupel has always given a veteran quarterback the edge. And I just don't know if that was ever really reality in that building. Like, sometimes quarterback battles happen and it's not really a battle. You have a battle for the sake of keeping both guys on campus. I was not sure if this was really that. I knew obviously they were always saying, like, yeah, this is a quarterback battle. But from everything we know and from what's happened, even if they had an idea that it was probably going to be George in the front end, it is well and truly a toss-up battle, game on, for the rest of this offseason moving forward.
What's fascinating is Hubs kind of broke it down to us on Friday when Zach was in for it. Okay, Hubs lightly apologized for creating, I guess, the stir up of the quarterback competition. He said on Friday, it's like, I feel like we all, and he's like, himself included, he said, I felt like we led with it being George's job.
Like George is to lose.
Yeah. He was like, and that was wrong on my behalf and everybody else that's reporting on it as well. He said, the thing is, George, so you just said it too, hadn't played much.
It's just always been a toss-up.
He's a redshirt freshman. There's no experience whatsoever with him. And the issue is Faison did. I will say this. He shows the escapability. I didn't know he used his legs like that. Jason Swain and I talked about it this past weekend. And I'll say this, and I think people understand it, most black quarterbacks try not to show their athleticism with their legs, even though that's a part of the game, because you don't want to be boxed in as just a runner. Faison can throw it, but he's also got more speed than I think I've seen in his highlights or watching his high school tape at all. He's fast is what I would say than I thought. Faster than I thought, because nobody talks about his legs. That's where I thought he did have the edge on George, although George can run. George is an athlete. But Faison in the scrimmage showed the ability time and time again to get out. But again, back to the original. Brent Hubbs said on Friday, I apologize for painting it as if George was going to be ahead like this, because there is no weight to George's conversation as far as being the leader in the clubhouse. And Faison has just walked in with the 5-star talent that he possesses and kind of showing why this is a full-fledged competition.
Total toss-up between those two guys.
Yes. Yes, it is.
615-737-1045 coming up. Could get to your phone calls in reaction to Ramon's on-field reporting for us, or on-site reporting on the orange and white game. Plus, we'll take a look at the ugly side of the Masters, which I might be barred from Augusta just saying the word ugly and Masters in the same sentence. Please let me go in the future. I really want to go. But I'm obviously talking about the lowlights from yesterday on the golf course. If you hit the highlights, we'll do the other side next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, letting you know nobody likes dealing with that plumbing, HVAC, or electrical emergency at all. I think we're supposed to get a little bit of warmer weather this week, and if you hadn't had Hiller over to service or your HVAC, well, it might be the time to hit them up, man. Nobody wants to be dealing with a sweaty house at all when it comes down to the way Tennessee weather gets hot on you, man. I do know this. Hiller will fix your problems right if you have any type of issue around your house, whether that be heating and cooling, electrical, or plumbing at all. And the price that you tell is the price that you will actually pay every single time. And there are no hidden fees or surprises on your bill at all. They've been in business, Hiller that is, for over 35 years and are family-owned and operated. Their techs that will visit your home are very professional, experienced, and trustworthy. And that's just some of the best people that you can deal with. They're very thorough in how they communicate with you. And when they're on their way, you'll receive a photo of the tech that's coming to your house and a link to track them in real time so you're not wasting time. The motto is, happy you'll build the service is free, and they absolutely mean it. If you don't believe me and you want to book with them, man, simply head over to happyhiller.com.
Wrapping up hour one on Ramon and Will, 615-737-1045. One question of the F&M Bank chat regarding orange and white game and Tennessee spring practice, Ramon. A commenter says, thoughts on Ryan Staub? Ryan Staub statistically had a great day.
He had a heck of a day.
There's a reason why stats aren't really kept, though, in spring games. What were your thoughts on Ryan Staub, and do you believe that he is a legitimate factor in the Tennessee quarterback competition?
For support, yeah. That's about as far as
What do you mean by support?
By
as a backup?
Yeah, as a backup. Like, that's just where I see his time. I personally don't think at any point in time, if the two young guys, Faison Brandon and George McIntyre, having bad days, they're going to go to Ryan Staub. I just don't. Does he have the poise to play ball? Absolutely. But I think this is the George and Faison show is the way I look at it. He had a nice bomb down the sideline, too, early in the scrimmage. And that was, to be quite honest with you, the only big-time play the Vols offense had all day. He's got good poise. He can play quarterback well, but when you look at the focus of what's happening with these three quarterbacks, the focus is George, the focus is Faison Brandon. So not to diminish the role of Ryan Staub, but he probably going to be a heck of a coach. He going to be a heck of a coach.
Vibes guy.
And that's just what he seemed like. He's on the shorter end. It looked like to me, not very tall. Not that has anything to do with anything, but when you see him,
it has to do with a lot of things.
He operated well, though, is what I say. If you did have to go to him, his poise is there. What I will say is this: following the spring game for the Vols at the orange and white game, I do get why coaches, teams are clamoring for the experience. That's what I would tell you. Not that you don't believe in it, but watching young guys grow up is hard to do when you know, like, your emotions are tied to wins and losses so hard.
Sure.
In America with football. I get why they go after the veteran guy. I get why they're coveted in the transfer portal because the mistakes and the lack of sight unseen on on freshmen, number one, or young guys, is hard. But also the execution and knowing how to execute is a little bit different, too, when you're talking about young guys. I get why now revisiting Arch Manning's first year as a starter. I get it. It's so much you have not seen. Not saying that the greatness isn't there, but there is a grow-up factor at the quarterback position. And every defense, and you know this, you've watched and covered ball for a long time, every defense tries to expose a young quarterback more than any other position.
Well, just having a guy that knows how to practice.
Yeah.
Knows how to be in the film room, knows what to do in the training room, just understands how all this is supposed to work, even if that guy doesn't play. Like, that's kind of what it feels like Ryan Staub is there for. Just number one, just be around, be a veteran that can calm everything down a little bit sometimes, and to your point, kind of be another coach on the sideline. But beyond that, I mean, you have two quarterbacks go down or one quarterback gets hurt, all of a sudden you're one more play away from having a walk-on in if you don't have Ryan Staub in the quarterback room. So just insurance. I mean, just if one guy gets hurt, you have a backup.
No doubt.
Ryan Staub is a backup quarterback. I would be floored to see him start week one. You never say never. You learn quickly talking about football to never totally rule things out, but I would be very surprised to see Ryan Staub be a real factor in the quarterback competition.
I do have a particular highlight spot, though, too, to be given to a guy.
Okay.
Braylon Staley is my guy. I'm hitching my wagon to the Staley train, 100%. Not it for no other reason other than Braylon Staley always checks in. He always does. The catching the football across the middle, on the sideline, you see him breaking off routes and getting open and have the catchability with his hands is there. I didn't notice anybody else more than I noticed Braylon Staley this past weekend at the wide receiver position. Now, Mike Matthews didn't get many reps. Tristan Keys is a freshman, of course. Rodarius Jackson, I will say, has the talent. He had a ball go right through his pits or his mitts when it comes to him catching one over the middle. But he did catch one later in the same fashion. That was a good catch, too. There were some good parts about it. But again, as much as the defense was swarming like a hornet's nest, it was tough sledding for a good bit of them. But the one guy that I'm attaching my train to, if we're talking about having a big year, I think is Braylon Staley.
I like it. I'll sign up for that.
I would. He had a good one last year.
He did. Freshman All-American, I believe, last year. Darren Ravel tweeted this out. This is the downside of a Sunday at the Masters, the bad part of what happens on a day like yesterday. Heading into yesterday's round, Shane Lowry was in fourth place, Ramon. He was in line for $1.08 million if he held on. He shot an 8 over 80 and will go home with $146,250. Can you imagine playing around like that? You wake up Sunday morning thinking that you were in line to maybe win the green jacket or at least be in contention in the clubhouse late against like your best friend on tour in Rory McIlroy. Yep. You got $1 million and change sitting in your back pocket and you go home with $100K. Tough. Hao Tung Lee was in a similar spot too. I mean, that is the part of it that every Masters party or every just watching golf event has that one person who somebody misses a putt to go from 5th to 10th. There's that one person in the back of the room. Oh, he just lost like $200,000. Let me be that person real quick. Shane Lowry, rough one yesterday.
And he cooked the first 3 rounds.
He's the guy that hit the Ryder Cup winning putt last year at Bethpage for Team Europe.
He cooked.
He's had a great year. Did not have a great day yesterday.
I will say this too, as far as luck goes and actually being on the right side of it. Cameron Young too had 2 wild balls hit trees and go right back onto the fairway.
Sure did. Justin Rose had one also.
I'm talking about living righteous, man, for that to happen. Not once, but twice. I couldn't imagine going from $1 million down to $146,000 just like that. And he was in control of it all.
Coming up, a big story broke yesterday in the NFL, but why is it breaking now? That's next. For over 50 years, Brentwood Jewelry has been proudly serving the Brentwood and Middle Tennessee community with exceptional style and exceptional deals every day. What's up? It's Will Bowling. Brentwood Jewelry is where I went when I needed an engagement ring for my fiance, and Brentwood Jewelry made the process so easy for me. I probably had a look in my eye when I walked in there, a look of fear, a look of, oh no, this is a big decision. This is a lot that we're investing in a really big moment in your life. Brentwood Jewelry, they get that. It's a family-owned and operated business spanning 3 generations. Whether you're looking for that engagement ring, you're looking to pop the question, or maybe you're just looking for a gift for the man in your life, Brentwood Jewelry is going to make the process so easy for you. From Salem's service and special forces to his sons serving as local firefighters, the Amamali family is dedicated to giving back. They're going to put you at ease when you're making big purchases at Brentwood Jewelry. 7012 Church Street East, located in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road. Exceptional style, exceptional deals every day for over 50 years. Check them out online at BrentwoodJewelry.com. That's Brentwood Jewelry, online at BrentwoodJewelry.com.
7:01. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports, the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Rory Mroy's Masters champion, once again becoming the fourth all-time to win the Masters in back-to-back years, and first to do it since Tiger Woods in 2001, 2002, joining Jack Nicklaus and Nick Faldo as well. McIlroy let a six-stroke lead slip on Saturday, but was able to hold off Scotty Scheffler, who shot 11 under Saturday and Sunday, who finished second. The Nashville Predators kept their playoff hopes alive on Saturday after a solid 2-1 win over the Minnesota Wild at Bridgestone Arena. Steven Stamkos, Matthew Wood tallied the goals for the Predators, and Justus Anonen made 21 saves in the win. The Predators, with just 2 games remaining, back on the ice tonight to face the San Jose Sharks with the 7 o'clock puck drop at Bridgestone Arena. And Nashville Soccer Club, they remain atop the East standings in MLS play with 16 points after a 2-1 win over Charlotte FC Saturday night. Eddie Tagseth and Patrick Yazbek scored for Nashville. Next up, the second leg of the CONCACAF Champions Cup quarterfinals against Club America is tomorrow night in Mexico City. First kick for that one is at 10:30 p.m. Central Time. For all your foundation repair waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Bring it, use it once, and you're home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hour number 2 of the program on Monday morning, April the 13th in Music City. Good morning. Welcome in on a gloomy yet pleasant Monday morning. I tell you what, the Sunday scaries after you hear the Masters theme for the final time are some of the worst Sunday scaries of the calendar year in these United States of America.
I never heard of the Sunday Scaries. What is that all about?
Never heard of those Sunday scaries.
This is my first time.
Working on Sundays
Work-
for 11 years for a workplace called the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah,
So there's this thing that happens when us mere mortals are watching football really in the fall or watching sporting events on Sundays or just in general.
Yeah.
We have this thing called the Sunday scaries where you realize the weekend is over and it sets in of like, crap, I have to go to work tomorrow. Which we love what we do here. And granted, this is not really work. This is talking about sports into a microphone. And what we do is really not all that difficult or challenging in any way. So if you're listening, you guys are doing the hard work and we're just sitting in here hanging out talking about sports. But that being said, the Sunday scaries still hit different after a big sporting event like that. Like that was a thing in college Sunday scaries. Yeah. I don't know. When did that become a phrase? Like,
I'm not even
in the last 5 years, I feel like Sunday scaries became like a term.
I don't know. I've heard it longer than that.
You have?
Yeah.
I never really heard of the Sunday
Well,
scaries,
because you're always, like he said, you're always busy. Mondays are probably, I don't know, not a manic Monday, but you're probably thankful for Monday because it's an off day for you. So you're probably just thankful for
y'all work Monday. Tuesdays are the off days of the NFL for players.
Absolutely. If you really real about your craft now. And now my
if you
early
really
if you
never
win,
if you really never have
you
an
get
off
Monday.
day.
Yeah, you get a Monday off.
They should never have an off day?
No, I said I guess you really never truly have an off day.
No,
You're always
you
doing
don't.
something.
Well,
Tuesday's the only really one.
I've known-
Kirk Cousins talked about that. He's like, no, I'm off on Tuesdays.
Does he really? Like, I had to go into the building. Had to. Like,
And maybe he did for a little bit. I just remember in that quarterback documentary that was on Netflix.
Yeah.
When it was Kirk a couple years ago.
Absolutely.
They made a point to, he's like, no, this is my day with my wife. Like, I'm home. I'm present for my kids. Like, not to say that you can't be present for your kids and go to the facility, but he would made it an extra point to say, like, no, Tuesdays I'm off.
What's crazy is Friday's a better day off than Tuesday is in the league. And what I mean by off is this. Tuesday you get the full day off, but you're still game planning.
Looking ahead.
Like you meant Sunday scaries. Like I looked at Tuesday terrors is the way I look at it because Wednesday was the hardest day. So I had to go to the weight room and get a workout in. Like I had more of a grace period on Fridays because we were done at 1 o'clock. That you feel like you get the rest of the evening to be a regular human being on Fridays. But I get what Kirk's coming from though too. When it comes down to it. Yeah, Tuesday terrors, I guess, is what scared me the most because that's when the coaches just go insane about practice and game planning.
Tuesday is the worst day of the week also, by the way.
If
you're power ranking the days 1 through 7, Tuesday is easily 7.
Oh, I think it's Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Wednesday would be 6 for me.
People blame Mondays, but Mondays to me is like, okay,
Mondays,
let's get
I got energy. Like I'm going to the grocery store. I'm in my routine. Like I usually cook on Mondays. Like I feel like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
You still have the energy of the weekend.
Yep.
Tuesdays, you can't feel the weekend on either side yet.
I agree.
You can't feel the weekend on the back end or on the front end because you feel so far away. Wednesdays, I can at least feel Thursday, which is the most underrated day of the week because Thursdays, you can't feel Monday yet. You can't feel like you're right on the doorstep of the next week. But you're also like, I was like, tomorrow's Friday. Like, that's the biggest thing I learned when I graduated college is nothing happens on a Friday. Like, American workplaces all around the country are just putting in about 60% effort on Fridays, and that's just great. That's just okay. And so Fridays are obviously number one, but Thursdays, I would say, are probably number two.
Everything that you just explained about Tuesday is how I feel on Wednesday. Wednesday's the only day of the week they had to give it a name for hump day. Just so you can feel better about yourself because you're in.
Yeah, but Tuesday doesn't even. At least that has a nickname. What's Tuesday's nickname?
Yeah,
I don't know. You still are,
exactly.
You're still reeling for Monday. See, Wednesday you're just in the heat of it. You're
I'm not reeling
literally
for
in
Monday,
the middle of it.
I
It's
like
like, I've already been 2 days through this. I got 3 more to go.
I feel like
that's how I feel on Wednesdays.
By Wednesday, I know the end is near of the work week.
Yeah,
that's
same.
how I feel.
Right.
Like
I don't get that feeling until Thursday.
No, I get it. Thursday to me is almost like, all right, we can hit the button. We put on autopilot now.
Friday Junior.
I need your brain.
Friday Junior. Exactly. But like even still, so the best day is Saturday because Friday, you can sleep in.
I feel like it's Friday.
And if you miss Friday, well, guess what? You can sleep in a little bit on Sunday before going to praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
I think it's Saturday.
Yesterday, a big story on Ruben Bane Jr. via Ollie Connolly of the Reed Optional. Ruben Bane Jr. was involved in a fatal collision in 2024, and apparently everyone in the NFL, from the team perspective,
I knew it like in October, November.
has known about this. Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know about this. One of the passengers in the car, 22-year-old Destiny Betts, suffered serious injuries and never emerged from a coma. She died 3 months later. That would have been in June of 2024. The police report, per Ollie Connolly, found that Ruben Bane was careless or negligent in his operation of the vehicle. He was cited for careless driving. The charge was later dismissed. It goes on to say all teams reportedly are aware of the incident. Albert Breer of SI notes the teams have known about it for a, quote, long time, and that a civil lawsuit arising from the crash was settled. A league source is quoted in this piece. It's like multiple league sources confirmed they are aware of the incident and are continuing to investigate. Unclear if it will affect Bane's draft position. One league source says, quote, it doesn't feel like Bane has been transparent with us. Another team executive, quote, we are concerned about multiple incidents. We are waiting for the other shoe, end quote. That's in Ollie Connolly's piece from the Reed Optional. What was your reaction seeing the headline drop yesterday to a story that you apparently already knew about?
Yeah, the second shoe's supposed to drop is he also got stopped in like 2025, October 2025 too, for reckless driving again. They let him go. They were winning. Can we just say that too? Miami was winning really big, and Ruben Bane Jr. is a part of that. And when you have teams that have been deprived of winning for that long, this is where they speak about what college campuses or cities that allow players to get away with this type of stuff. Just the reality, the harsh reality of, can I be honest, being good and always wanting to win. But I learned about this in, like I said, October, November of last year. It was like, hey, hold up, there's going to be some stuff that comes out about him. The sad reality of it is somebody lost their life. The other sad part is this was hidden because Ruben Bane is going to be in a position in which he can allegedly or have allegedly been able to satisfy a monetary gain for the family. And again, nothing replaces a life, not even a little bit, especially when it comes down to losing it in a car accident where he was deemed, liable for it. And the other part, though, too, is I do respect the family and how they've gone about this as well. They could have made it a big issue. And the only reason I say that is this part of it. They said in their statement that they released, they just want peace and not to just continue to relive this nightmare that they've already dealt with over the last couple of years in the public NFL world, too. So they're choosing not to speak about it as well. Ruben Bane legally has handled this. It is a black eye, but you know what I would say to all of the finger pointers and just blamers of this as well, everybody want to chastise it, then that means you got to get rid of Jalen Carter, too. there's been a similar situation before the draft. He and a former teammate at Georgia dealt with this, and you know what happened as well, Will? He still went number 8 overall. If you have, again, a talent.
Number 9 in 2023.
Number 9, yeah, number 9.
But your point still stands.
Top 10. If you have a talent that people can't understand and want to use, they will find ways around. It's just the ugly reality of how we treat important people in this world. I don't even want to hold it to sports. It's just if you have something that people want, they'll find ways to utilize it or monetarily pay for it.
It does feel like there's been a little bit of a slide happening with Ruben Bane already on draft boards. Do you think this could be a reason why that's already been happening over the last month?
No.
Since the combine?
Because everybody's reported that all teams have mostly known about this as well.
Sure, but my thought is, when did teams really learn details, right? Because the teams would have had the chance to talk with Ruben Bane in person and have him explain what happened and see how forthcoming he is with details that they already know about. That's my thing, is that whoever is in this saying we're concerned about multiple incidents or saying it doesn't feel like he's been transparent with us, his opportunity to be transparent would have been at the combine.
As many people as I felt like knew about this is outside football people, of course, knowing about it as well. This could have or should have been asked about at the combine or on these visits as well. Like,
okay. So you don't think there's a big slide that's already been happening because of this stuff?
No.
Okay. Fair enough.
Laramie Tunsil, Jalen Carter.
Well, I think Tunsil's different because teams saw something the second the draft was starting, and they didn't have time to ask questions.
This is true.
I think Jalen Carter is the right comparison to say that this is a big talent, not a perfect prospect by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
Who is, to be fair, but he slipped to number 9 in the 2023 draft, finished second in Defensive Rookie of the Year voting, and he qualified for the Pro Bowl in 24 and 25.
Exactly. I don't know. It's unfortunate talking about a situation in which a person died and he's still going to be a top draft pick at this point. I think his slide is more on his measurables than his personality. Like, reckless driving happens across the league. Heck, Ted Ginn Jr., I think this past weekend, was it Ted Ginn, the UFL coach? Never mind. My point of it is these stops happen often. Georgia's the poster boy for this type of stuff happening, coming out. Ted Ginn was arrested for a DUI, and he's still going to end up being the head coach of the UFL team, too, after taking some time away.
I mean, heck, Myles Garrett has been caught speeding going triple digits multiple times.
Flipped the Porsche recently, too. Memphis Grizzlies had a basketball player with a 1,000-horsepower Corvette get caught on a chase in Arkansas, wherever he was this past week, too, or a couple weeks ago. Like, fast cars and speed is a part of, I think, most sports culture.
Which is a shame.
Yeah. And again, I feel like I'm minimizing as I don't. It's a serious issue that's happened. But the thing with this issue is I don't think it'll be recurring for him other than catching a ticket the same way Myles Garrett is. And he's already settled with the family. I've seen players like this get in trouble before. 1 or 2 or 3 of my good friends pre-draft had legal issues. And the moment they turned pro, they got sued. And in that lawsuit, it pretty much went away. And these guys still went top 10 of first rounds or had long careers in the NFL.
The big thing is teams don't like being surprised. Laramie Tunsil, when there was a video of him with a gas mask smoking right before the draft, had teams surprised. It caught teams flat-footed because they didn't have answers. Right. It sounds like even though the situation is not ideal for Ruben Bane Jr., teams at least have answers. They might not all have the right answers, but there is at least some sort of understanding of what happened and how to proceed. So I think, to your point, it's more like Jalen Carter than it is Laramie Tunsil. Stony Keely joins us coming up next. We're going to spend a lot of time this morning and throughout the week taking a look at off-ball linebacker for the Titans. We'll start with Sonny Styles at the top. I've got a draft crush in the 3rd round. And I've been persuaded, Ramon, that the Titans might, based on the way this board is speaking to me and to them, end up taking a linebacker on day 2 of the NFL draft. We'll talk about those options with Stony Keely coming up next. Hey, what's going on? It's Will Bowling. Is your home's air conditioning ready to keep up with the warmer months ahead? Lee Company has you covered. Their team of professional technicians will give your home's AC a tune-up as well as seasonal cleaning and maintenance to help you stay ahead of the heat and humidity. Over the weekend, we got a taste of summer here in Middle Tennessee. It felt a little bit like the temperatures that we're going to be having into June, into July. And now is the time, while we're still in April, and we do have a little bit of cooler air overnight, to make sure that your AC unit is ready. Don't let your AC fail this spring and summer. Head on over to leecompany.com to schedule your appointment today. The best news, Lee Company is available 24/7 to make sure that your AC unit is working properly. If things appear to be declining, they'll get out there. They'll take care of it for you. Just head online, leecompany.com, to schedule your appointment today. That's Lee Company, all you need.
It's Ramon and Will here for Window Nation. Good people, spring is here, and it is a great time to open your windows. But what if your windows don't open as easily as you think they should, or if they leak or are broken or need repainting? Again, man, the pros at Window Nation can help you get new, energy-efficient windows at a great price. And Window Nations, the more you buy, Will, the more you save. Sale is going on right now.
That's right, Ramon. Window Nation not only gives you the best ability to invest in your home with those new windows, but they're also going to save you money in the process. The more you buy, the more you save. Sale, like you said, is going on now. You can save up to 50% off all the windows for your home, and you could get them with 0% interest financing for 5 years. Window Nation offers a lifetime warranty on all their windows, so you can relax knowing your home is protected far into the future. So take advantage of the more you buy, the more you save sale with Window Nation. Save up to 50% off all the windows in your home, and you could even get them with 0% interest financing for 5 years. Online at windownation.com. That's Window Nation. Online at windownation.com. Ramon Will rolls on 104.5 The Zone and Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Crew is all here. Ramon Foster, Will Bolding, Justin Hawkins, joined by our very good friend Stony Keely with 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks, week and a half to go.
We in it.
Until the NFL draft. Stony, we are on the doorstep. How are we living this morning?
Oh, I'm ready for it, gentlemen. Thank you for having me this morning. I'm just, every day that we get a little bit closer, and I'm spending a little more time off of social media because we've officially reached that point in the draft cycle where the narratives are just getting too out of control. So we just, you know what, let's just get this thing over with. Let's get to the big day. I'm ready for it.
Well, so I'm on stackingtheinbox.substack.com. That is where you can read Stony Keely and Zach Lyons and their work covering the NFL draft. I see a big link here, Stony, that says 2026 NFL Draft Guide with a little bio underneath it that says, it's finally here. Stony and Zach present to you Stacking the Inbox's 3rd annual NFL Draft Guide. How does it feel to have that link up and have this thing out and to the people?
That's big time.
Oh, it's awesome, Will. And thank you for mentioning that. 190 pages, 288 prospect profiles, the Titans fit ratings that Zach Lyons, our colleague at 1045, has designed. All of my top 150 prospects, recommended viewing, my favorite tape I've watched this cycle, hidden gems, best fits for the Titans, my favorite matchups that I watched, like that Chris Brazzell, Devin Moore street fight from the Florida UT game last fall. It is a doozy. But I'd be lying if I told you I wasn't watching prospects anymore. Still, Will. I'm still like firing up the Michigan State tape to watch this center that they've got, even though the draft guide's out. But like you said, stackingtheinbox.com is where you can get it. If you don't want to subscribe for the year-round content, there is an option to just buy the draft guide as well. So that's all up there at stackingtheinbox.com.
I love it.
Nice.
Well, today, Stony, we were looking at off-ball linebackers, and I got to be honest, as I dove deeper into this position last night, I convinced myself that this could be a day 2 need for the Titans because it does feel like a spot where need matches a big pod of players that may be available to you in the 2nd round and really in the 3rd round, according to a lot of what Dane Brugler has written, the consensus draft board, some of the stuff from the NFL.com guys as well. But, of course, we got to start at the top with Sonny Styles, who Ramon is just gushing over every time we talk about Titans options at 4. What makes Sonny Styles such an intriguing option for the Tennessee Titans with the 4th overall pick?
Well, first of all, Will, I think you're spot on that linebacker could be a bigger, more pressing need in Robert Saleh's defense than we're currently thinking right now. The way I described it on Thursday night's episode of Football and Other F Words, we got out a whiteboard and we were kind of drawing some stuff out on the whiteboard before it ultimately fell over and hit Zach in the head. But that's neither here nor there. But I would distinguish the way Robert Saleh's linebackers play in coverage as more east to west than north-south, as Cody Barton and Cedric Gray were playing in Denard Wilson's scheme. I don't know that they have guys in-house that are real east to west, sideline to sideline range. So I do think it's possible. I think you're onto something, that they could invest a pick as high as day 2 on the inside linebacker spot just to get a guy that's a little more tailor-made for that system. As for Sonny Styles, hey, I call him the blueprint. I mean, he looks like the prototype of the modern linebacker in the NFL, what it's supposed to look like. That's Sonny Styles. I had a hard time finding any negatives in his game. So I'm kind of with Ramon, and I texted him this privately. This is breaking news on the air. I'm listening to him make the case for Sonny Styles, and I'm like, man, nobody said it like Ramon just yet. Like you're kind of pulling me away from Jeremiah Love a little bit. I'll be happy with either of those guys because they're both blue chippers in my book. They're 2 of the 3 best players in this draft. The issues I found with Sonny Styles, like sometimes he can overrun an angle pursuing the run. He's like a little too aggressive at times. He can fall for motion on a play or 2 a game, following it outside, leaving the hole open inside, that sort of thing. But for the most part, this guy is impactful. He's athletic. He's versatile. There is no gap he can't get to. There's no running back he can't mirror out to the flat. There's no play he can't run down. There's no tight end that he can't turn and run with. You see instincts where he flows to the run game, gets to the right spot. You see the coverage ability where that athleticism shows up. I think he also plays with pretty good anticipation. And that's where you see his background as a safety showing up, is like the route recognition, the ability to get to a route and kind of rough a guy up a little bit, disrupt the timing, turn and run, whatever he's got to do to keep a throwing window tight, he's going to do it. And then I think there's untapped potential with Styles as a blitzer, as a pass rusher. He can play all over the field. So I really think this is a can't-lose situation, whether it's Styles or whether it's Love at 4th overall. And that's where, to Ramon's credit, he has moved me in recent weeks.
I try not to be that convincing, but when I like a player like that, I'm all in, Stone. Yes, that's on me, man. I didn't mean to just take you away from your pick like that.
You're making me smarter, Ramon. That's what you're doing.
No doubt, man. It's fascinating looking at this linebacker group, though, as we look at the Titans guys that they have in-house. Cody Barton, I think there's an out after his. Cedric Gray is continually growing, too, as an off-ball linebacker. But, like, if they do go Jeremiah Love and go off-ball linebacker second, like, that's prime for that position. Another guy next this conversation's two guys for me is Jacob Rodriguez and also Anthony Hill Jr., who I thought was going to be a bona fide first-round draft pick at the end of the year. How do you look at those two guys, man?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of both of those guys, and I think they're two of those guys in the middle rounds that somebody's going to end up getting a steal, right? Like with Hill, I think he's athletic, but I didn't see him a lot in true like one-on-one coverage situations. He's more of an enforcer at the edge. He kind of strikes me as a Mike or a Sam linebacker that's going to play the run, flow to the run, cut it off, collapse a gap sort of thing. Like he's got some power to him. He's got some speed, and like you're just not going to run on that guy. Jacob Rodriguez, on the other hand, he's a little lighter. He doesn't have ideal length. That's something that's going to push him down the board a little bit, though. I've seen some analysts say that he could sneak into the back end of the first round. They wouldn't be surprised to it. So don't know who everybody's talking to this time of year, but I just know that's been floated out there. But he is a guy that is just all over the field. And to me, like the length is only an issue if you see it become an issue. And I know that feels like a Yogi Berra-ism or something like that. But what I mean by it is that he can make up for the lack of length because he's so explosive. So when it's time to get up in the air and tip a pass, he can get up there. I mean, the guy's got hops. He's a pretty explosive player. And that showed up on the tape at times at Texas Tech, where he'd get a hand on the ball, he'd get an interception, and you weren't thinking about his arm length then. So I like Jacob Rodriguez. He's a guy that flies around the field. He plays really hard. I think he's probably more of the rangier type that this linebacking room is missing right now. But listen, if they end up with Anthony Hill Jr. out of Texas, I'm not going to be mad about that as well. That guy is he's a stone wall against the run.
There's one guy in particular that's been very back and forth. Hot and cold, I guess, is how you describe his college career, man. And that is Harold Perkins Jr. At this point, you can get him, depending upon draft boards, Stoney, on the 5th or 6th round pick. Like, is that because I don't know why he's in the position that he's in right now, because he started off all world. Now, I know he had the ACL, but you see him on the field. He's side to side. He's quick as heck. I thought he was a one-man wrecking ball for LSU. And now, Stoney, how did he go from potential first-round draft pick earlier in his career in college to 5th to 6th round grade?
Yeah, it's really interesting, Ramon. A case study that's worth studying. A couple of seasons ago, we were talking about this guy's like a top 15, 20 caliber pick, and he underwent the position change, right? He went from edge rusher to inside linebacker, and then he tears his ACL in 2024, and he just hasn't quite looked the same since. It's almost like, sometimes you see these guys and we call them tweeners or hybrids or something like that. But I would say his is the case where it actually looks positionless, right? It's not that he can do multiple things. It's that LSU didn't really seem to know what to do with him. And I think that's kind of fascinating because it's a guy that has the athleticism, right? I mean, he can move, and it still shows up on tape. But there is some hesitancy to his game where it kind of looks like he lacks the instincts to really play linebacker, but he doesn't have the adequate size to be a full-time edge rusher. And you factor in the injury history, I think that's what's causing him to slide down boards, but I still like him as a guy that you can kind of plug in, bring some extra pressure. You can use his speed. You can use his range in the flats to defend against running backs. Like, when you take away the decision-making, when you take away the recognition, stuff like that he doesn't have to do, if he's just a see-ball, get-ball guy, or as I call him, if he's just a seek and destroy kind of guy, he can be effective in the NFL. It's just a matter of, do you need that player or do you need something more from the position? And that's where I feel like the Titans kind of need something more from the position. But if he's there at a certain point late on day 3, then he flips to become a value. And so I wouldn't be surprised, because this is a guy that I think his ceiling in the NFL is kind of wreaking havoc, getting after the quarterback, that sort of thing. I don't know that you want him like reading route combinations and dropping and all that stuff, but he's still a guy that can be a force and be a disruptor on the passing game.
Stony Keely of Football and Other F Words, stacking the inbox. Their draft guide out now. Here are our guest on Ramon and Will. Stony, I really like Kyle Lewis as an option for the Titans based off of the skill set that it feels like Robert Saleh is going to want in his 4-3 defense. And Kyle Lewis was a starter for 2.5 years at Pitt in Randy Bates's 4-3 base scheme for the Pitt Panthers. High school safety, transition to linebacker in college. I know we've already got 2 guys on this defense at linebacker who are safeties in the past, between James Williams and Cody Barton. Is Kyle Lewis the skill set you feel like the Titans are looking for? And would you see him as maybe a day 2, round 3 option for them, ranked around 70 on the consensus big board?
Yeah, absolutely, Will. I'm a big fan of Kyle Lewis. I think he fits in that bucket of Swiss Army knife defenders. Like, there's like 5 or 6 guys in this class that you don't know, are they a linebacker? Are they a safety? Are they a slot corner? And the truth is that they could do anything you ask them to do. And Lewis is one of those guys. Now, you want to talk about undersized.
Right.
6 foot, 220 pounds. That shows up on tape. Like, you fire up the Pitt defense and you can tell Kyle Lewis looks a tick smaller than a lot of the other linebackers in this class. But I think you could argue that he's probably one of the best movers in this class. I mean, you think about Sonny Styles, Jake Golday out of Cincinnati is another guy. I put Kyle Lewis right there with him. And it is the change of direction ability. It's the sideline to sideline range. He can line up at the line of scrimmage and then drop 20 yards as if it's nothing. So he has that element of unpredictability. Like, you just don't know where he's going to be. They blitzed him sometimes off the edge. I mean, he's got speed. He's got range. If you don't need a guy that's going to bolster your run game, and it's not to say that Kyle Lewis can't defend the run. He's certainly willing. He plays hard. But with that light frame, you do see him get pushed around a little bit. But if you need a guy that can just drop and cover sideline to sideline, Kyle Lewis is one of the safest bets in this draft class.
Stoney, nothing gets the people going better than a Georgia defensive player, and nobody's really talking about C.J. Allen out of Georgia right now, man. What can you tell us about him? Because he is from a Kirby Smart defense. He played at the UGA. He checks every single box, and he's slated to be a second-round graded guy as well, man. Why are we not talking more about him? Or, to be quite honest with you, Stoney, Georgia defensive players at all this year?
Yeah, so with C.J. Allen, excuse me, the pro day testing did not go so well. And he had a clip that went viral, and every expert online was dissecting it and talking about how he's not fast, he can't move, all this stuff. It wasn't ideal, but I can tell you the NFL knows exactly what C.J. Allen is, and that did not impact his stock all that much. He is the field general type. I mean, this is a guy that is, not to bring up the green dot conversation again. Let's try to keep a lid on it and not let it go for the next 6 months. But he's a green dot worthy linebacker, like a guy that is seasoned, experienced. You can probably put him on the field, slap that green dot on his helmet pretty early in his career. He's more glide than burst. I mean, you see that in the testing, but he's got a read and react superpower where he wedges in, gets into the gap, stops the run, gets to the running backs in the flat, erases outside runs. He's just that guy that is just so steady in the middle of the defense. He's a communicator, kind of strikes me as one of those glue guy type of players. And for an NFL team that doesn't have that, he's probably one of the best in the class. Like that's what had him mocked in the first rounds for so long. And then the testing came out, and now everybody's saying, oh, well, he's a day two kind of guy. I look at him as more of what the Titans already have. But if they feel they need to upgrade one of those spots, C.J. Allen is a guy that might be there on day two that, they could probably feel comfortable with seeing the field earlier. And as for the Georgia defense as a whole, it is weird because it wasn't as dominant as it had been in years past. And, we've been talking about like 4 to 5 guys from the Georgia defense being first rounders like the last 5 years. It seems like there's been a bit of a drop off. I mean, they have some guys there that are going to get drafted, but I don't know. I mean, you think about Dalen Everett, the corner. You think about Kristen Miller, the defensive tackle. There's just not that guy that you look at and you say, this is a top 15 pick in the NFL draft.
He is Stony Keely joining us Mondays at 7:20 leading up to the NFL draft. Get the Stacking the Inbox draft guide and subscribe to Football and Other F Words while you're at it as well. The next time we talk to you, Stony, here on air, it'll be draft week. Looking forward to it next week. Appreciate you as always.
Appreciate it, Stoney.
Yeah, I can't wait, guys.
Love it. All right, man. Talk to you soon.
Appreciate it, Stoney. What's crazy is if we have no Georgia guys we're talking about this year like that, it'll be 6 of them next year in the first round.
Right.
It'll be 6 of them in the first round next year, man.
I love it.
Pendulum always swings.
We love working with Stony and Zach, too, and their knowledge on the draft. And that draft guide is legit. Yeah. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Stoney's watching film on Michigan State centers after the draft guide's already out. If you need any more examples of how hard he works on this stuff.
Yeah, goes down to the Senior Bowl. Like he really dives into it like a mad scientist.
Coming up, a couple big moves over the weekend for Tennessee basketball. We'll recap for you after this.
It's Ramon Foster for Low T Center, man. Letting you know, Center Jackson Low T Center have been highlighted for having the highest quality testosterone on the market. They only use pharmaceutical grade testosterone, never compounded testosterone. So you know what's going on in your body. I'm telling you, don't settle for the compounded mystery testosterone. Go with the safer, smoother TRT with real human providers. And that's one of the things that Low T Centers do for you. You walk into the building, you got a real human at the front desk welcoming you in, letting you know that, hey, the doctors will be here. If you want a beverage, go grab you one of those as well. But they also dose their TRT more frequently than most other clinics to make sure your testosterone levels are always optimal. Don't dip below the baseline. This keeps your TRT smooth and keeps side effects in check. They also stay on top of your health with regular medical testing so they can make sure your TRT is always safe and just that you are as well. TRT and Low T Center, man, they're more than just testosterone. They are a health facility for your entire body. I tell you all the time, fellas, get over there and check them out, man. But you can simply head over to getmyhealthfix.com. That's getmyhealthfix.com. And make sure you tell them that Ramon sent you.
So in 2026 and 27, Tennessee basketball is going to look a lot different on the court. But after the weekend, they are moving in the right direction to still be the same level of team this upcoming season. Maybe a little bit better. Ramon Will, 104.5 The Zone, wrapping up hour 2. Mike Keith going to stop by. Coming up at 8:20. Miles Ruben committed to Tennessee basketball yesterday as a rim protector from Loyola, Chicago. He has blocked 237 shots in 103 games, 100 of which he started. The Loyola record for career blocks was 176. He broke that early in his junior season. Ranked top 20 nationally in block rate in all 3 of his seasons, including number 1 in that in 23-24. He joins, and Day Ames joins, coming from Cal, who averaged a career best 17 points a game, 38% from 3, hit 85% of his free throws. Ramon, Rick Barnes is cooking, and this is only the beginning.
He is, and it's still kind of quiet with what else they have going on right now, man. I think this was a good piece for the Vols, of course. Looking at some of the stuff that he had to say about it as well, Miles Ruben, just speaking about the type of offense that he's going to be able to run with Coach Rick Barnes, the lob game being a part of it, of course, him being able to pass the ball around from big to big, rim protect, and not just that, man. It was everything that Tennessee sold to him, the environment of the arena, being around Vol Nation and stuff like that. I expect going from Loyola, Chicago to the Vols, like, is going to be a big step up with him as far as fanfare and expectations too. So I'm excited to see what he can do for the Vols. The rim protection side of it, to me, also shows the athleticism that this offense needs. And Rick Barnes has a type that he's always going to go after. Again, standing at 6'9" with the length that he has and athleticism as well, could lead to some exciting stuff. I'm not sure where he stacks up as far as Akpara goes, but it seems to me he's in that same range of being able to be athletic, go up high, get the ball, and also I dare you to come towards the rim type of situation.
Ton of lobs on his film. He'll be used offensively a lot of the same ways I think that Felix did. It feels like he's going to maybe give you a tad bit more on offense and a tad bit less on defense, the way I see it.
Yeah.
Simply because I don't think he's as rare of a perimeter defender as Felix was.
Okay.
Felix had the ability to be switched off onto a guard and still hold his own because he was so quick at his size. I think Miles Ruben is more of a traditional stay in the paint, protect the rim. He's not going to be as good switching out on guards. I do think, though, he'll be able to maybe give you a little bit more back to the basket scoring.
Gotcha.
Of just turn and go up.
And that's where Felix
was very limited.
And also, J.P. Estrella was spotty in that position as well from time to time. It's fascinating, too, looking at this transfer portal rating of Miles Ruben. Miles Ruben is rated in the transfer portal ratings as a 93.6 according to Rivals and On 3 rating.
Yeah.
That's pretty high, would you say?
Yeah, he's a 4-star transfer.
Okay, so it's fascinating. He's still ranked the 93rd player, the 25th Power 4. It shows you real quick the amount of talent that's in the transfer portal.
So, and I'm glad you brought that up because I do think that especially in basketball, fit matters even more than it does in football because you are less dependent on athleticism than maybe you are in football rankings where you are going to hit an athletic ceiling as a football player at some point where you can be put in the perfect system. But if you're just not a great athlete, you're limited. Basketball is a little bit more dependent on what skill set you can bring into a given system. And a Rick Barnes big man is going to have a harder time in, say, a Kentucky or Alabama system. Whereas a Kentucky big man is going to have a tougher time in Tennessee system. That's just one example. Like, I'm not going to get in the weeds on the why. I'm just picking two different teams with two very different systems. Like, Felix Akpara probably doesn't help you a lot in a different kind of system that's not so predicated on the lobs and the defense. And he was put in a position to flourish because it was a Tennessee team that wanted him in the paint, offensive rebounding. You play a 5-out offense or even 4-out, 1-in, and you force him to move around more, you don't get the best version of Felix. I think Miles Ruben is a perfect fit for what Tennessee wants out of its 5s. My question then becomes, who's the 4 next to him? Because Dwayne Brown, obviously, you have there who is stuck around. They still need to go get more 4s in the transfer portal.
No doubt.
If they want to be the same kind of team they were last year, being a 3-guard, 2-big lineup that is predicated on offensive rebounding and having the size advantage and giving more shots back to your team. The other thing is, Ramon, they are going after a different kind of player, and they're getting hoopers.
Yeah.
If you don't know what a hooper is, it's a guy that makes you go, ooh, as you watch a YouTube
ball
highlight video. That's basically the best way I can describe it. On offense, you go, ooh. Well, if you have
Often.
over 2.5 ooh on a highlight video, that's a hooper.
Yeah.
Day-Day Ames will go get a bucket.
Yeah.
He reminds me a little bit of Jordan Gainey in the way that he plays. Like 3-level scorer, can shoot the 3, solid free throw shooter, can go to the basket and get fouled. Started his career at Kansas State, was at Virginia, then obviously goes to Cal, and now he's at Tennessee. So he's a 4-school and 4-year guy, but he can go get a bucket. It feels like Tennessee is prioritizing offense a little bit more so far in the portal.
I think you have to. Looking at what stopped them from scoring, I mean, winning this last year, points, of course, but how they were able to score. Like, the purest scorer, even when Nate men out there, was Jacoby Gillespie, I felt like this year. Like, I think Nate has the ability to absolutely be a pure scorer, but the way he was guarded this year and as much growth as he's had, readjusting to his body and all those types of things, like, Jacoby was the guy. And if it wasn't Jacoby, it had to be an opponent that you could take advantage of the way the Vols took advantage of LSU or South Carolina or other teams for that matter, but not being able to close out a game against Kentucky twice. You know, like having situations in which your lead just got constantly walked down by certain teams that you were playing each and every time. And that, to me, is the adjustment I think Rick Barnes needs as a coach and for his team. And to your point a second ago, the type of players that you're going after. That was the one thing that snake bit us a lot this past year, was they couldn't close or get a bucket to stop the nosebleed, especially if you look at the Michigan game. Nobody could stop the scoring or score or go toe-to-toe.
Missed shots allowed them to run in transition, which that's what Michigan does. Yeah.
It does.
The big question is, who is the centerpiece of this team? Who's the go-to guy? You had 2 last year in Jacoby Gillespie and Nate Ament. I don't see that guy on this team yet. Is it Juke Harris, who they had an in-house visit with last night, the number 3 overall player in the portal? VolQuest had that report yesterday that Tennessee was expected to do an in-home visit with Juke Harris. He would be a centerpiece type player. Terrence Hill, the VCU player, had 34 and 5 against North Carolina. He's apparently visiting this week. I don't know if he's even that guy. I think he's another good piece. Like, who's the dude? Or is that player even in the transfer portal yet? Totally speculating on my part, but they still will have to go. And Nate Ament was that player late in the process last year, because Nate was a spring edition last season, or summer, really early summer edition. Who is the late spring edition this time around to be the guy? I don't know. Maybe that guy's already in the portal. Maybe he isn't. But I think there's a lot still to happen. And apparently there are some names that reporters aren't talking about yet, because Tennessee's playing things very close to the vest. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting.
But you're right. Their big play hadn't been made yet.
Right. Interested to see who it is.
I wonder how the big play is going to unfold. They have to make a big play.
My guess is it's at point guard. Because they've got a big need there, and it is hard to play point guard for Rick Barnes. Coming up, Rory McIlroy won the Masters, but he also had a pretty big advantage coming into the tournament. We'll talk about that coming up next. What's up? It's Will Bowling. Carpet is the #1 air filter inside the home. It filters out airborne pollen, bacteria, you name it. If it's being tracked into your house, it's probably trapped in the carpet. Zerorez is the best carpet cleaner in town because they give you a smarter, lasting clean. The science behind ZR Water means there are no harsh chemicals, no soap residue, faster dry times, and everything stays cleaner longer when you get Zerorez out there to clean your carpets. And I'm here to tell you, Zerorez has got a deal for you. 3 carpeted rooms plus a hallway for $149. You can also get $50 off air duct cleaning from the pros in Middle Tennessee who have outstanding Google reviews. Just check them out. Search Zerorez. Call them at 615-535-9376. Book an appointment online at zeroresnashville.com. You'll be glad you did. That's Zerorez. Spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean. 615-535-9376. And don't forget to ask about their air duct cleaning.
8:04. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Rory McIlroy's Masters champion, once again becoming the fourth all-time to win the Masters in back-to-back years, and first to do it since Tiger Woods did it in 2001 and 2002, joining Jack Nicklaus and Nick Faldo as well. McIlroy let a 6-stroke lead slip on Saturday, but able to hold off Scotty Scheffler, who shot 11 under Saturday and Sunday to finish second at 1 stroke back. The Nashville Predators kept their playoff hopes alive after a solid 2-1 win over the Minnesota Wild on Saturday. Steven Stamkos and Matthew Wood tallied the goals for Nashville, and Justus Anunen made 21 saves in the win. The Predators, with just 2 games remaining, are back on the ice tonight to face the San Jose Sharks with a 7 o'clock puck drop at Bridgestone Arena. At Nashville Soccer Club, they remain atop the East standings in MLS play with 16 points on the year so far after a 2-1 win over Charlotte FC Saturday night. Eddie Tagseth and Patrick Yazbek scored for Nashville. Next up, the second leg of the CONCACAF Champions Cup quarterfinals against Club America tomorrow night in Mexico City. The first kick is at 10:30 p.m. Central Time. For all your foundation repair waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show, an hour 3 getting started on this Monday morning. Good morning. Welcome in. Glad you're with us on 104.5 The Zone. 615-737-1045 is our number. Voice of the Vols, Mike Keith, stopping by in 15 minutes. We'll get his perspective on Saturday's orange and white game that we've given a lot of details on already this morning since Ramon was there and obviously on the call for it. Rory McIlroy wins his second straight green jacket, becoming the fourth ever to win back-to-back green jackets, the first since Tiger in 2002. But he had quite the advantage, didn't he?
Yes.
Being able to play the course whenever he wanted. This was Rory McIlroy turning some heads with this statement over the weekend.
I honestly just don't like the 3 tournaments leading up to this event. I'd rather come up here. You know, I did a couple of days where I dropped Poppy to school, flew up here, played, landed back home and had dinner with her, or had dinner with Eric and Poppy. Like I did a couple of day trips like that where I felt like that was a better use of my time than going to Houston or San Antonio. So wasn't really about conserving energy, but I felt, you know, the more time I could spend up here, the better.
Rory McIlroy, is that an unfair advantage to be able to play not tournaments, but just Augusta over and over before the Masters?
Heck yes. Heck yes, it's an unfair advantage. I don't know if this has ever been reported upon by anybody before who had won the Masters before and used it as a practice range. And that's essentially what he did. Like, did it overly benefit him? I guess depending upon what you thought about, was it Thursday and Friday? Yeah, you could say that it overly benefited him more than others. Other players on this tour had to have their focus, as he said, in Texas or California, wherever else they were playing. They had to focus on that course. He, of course, making as much money he has his own private jet, the way it was reported, lives in Jupiter, Florida. Jupiter to Augusta is a 45-minute flight for him. He drops his daughter off, flies to Jupiter, plays the course because now he's a member because he's won it, and he can. I look at it, if I'm trying to be the best in the world, be in a position where he could be left, leave a legacy behind in the golf world, he did advantage what people in his position would do. He took advantage of the system. The system allows him to go and play that course. It'd be fascinating to see who else does this moving forward. I'm not sure if they got Rory McIlroy's money or private jet time, but I can't believe the Masters committee allow him to do this.
Well, when you win the Masters, you have the ability to play the course. So he earned the ability to do this by winning last year the way that he did.
Even copping out on other tournaments. And he said it off top. I don't like them.
That's the problem to me. Rory McIlroy was the poster child for the PGA Tour versus LIV a few years back.
Yep.
And Rory McIlroy, when he got in front of a microphone, would constantly speak about why players need to play more tournaments and about if we're going to make more money, if we're going to ask for things, we've got to show up and we've got to play more. And it feels like last year when Rory finally won the career Grand Slam and won the green jacket, he felt like he didn't need to represent the tour anymore because he felt like he had everything he needed. He had gathered all the Infinity Stones, and now he can snap his fingers and just be Rory. And part of me gets it because I think he was probably really tired of essentially being the player commissioner of the PGA Tour. Like Rory McIlroy, Tiger Woods, the different heads of the tour now with a new commissioner in have essentially been like a triumvirate of commissioner. Like imagine if one player in the NFL was essentially like Roger Goodell level power. Like Rory McIlroy was wielding a lot of power as a player, and I think he got tired of it. I think the pendulum has now swung too far the other direction. I think he is becoming very self-centered. And he earned that right.
So I was going to go.
He earned that right when he won the career Grand Slam and did something that a very small handful of golfers have ever done.
Yeah.
I understand where he's coming from. But Rory, just a couple of years ago, you were the one pounding the table of, we need to play more tournaments. We need to play more. We need to be out there. Our best players should be playing more events. And now you're openly saying you don't like 3 specific tournaments and you're going to go spend extra time playing Augusta.
Yeah.
It just doesn't sit super well with me how quick his changeup happened.
I'll put it this way. In the spirit of competition, I respect it. You know why? Because I think the good guy that golf the PGA needs is Scotty. Scotty's, from my understanding, everything that golfers love and the game appreciates as well. And the way I'm looking at, to me, and I'm probably off base saying this, but Rory, to me, is doing opposite of what I feel like Tiger did. Not like on purpose, right? You hear Rory saying he's going to drop his daughter off and then go fly Augusta, like keeping the main thing, and being back home to have dinner with his wife and daughter. Like, to me, I feel like when you're in a position that Rory's gotten himself into, to where he can do what he wants to because he is him, especially with winning the Masters last year as well. Like, this is the first year he's been able to utilize this. Yeah, screw that little PGA tour y'all had in Texas. I don't want to do this. It's too hot, and I really don't like the course. Like, I think if you're chasing greatness, you find out ways in which you can maximize your winning potential for the ones that actually matters. Like, of course, he wants to win the FedEx Cup. Is it still a FedEx Cup with how they go about the point system?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. But the Masters is what's going to make me great. Y'all, let's say if I only won it once and it was a fluke. You only won it once. Now, not that he's Tiger, but you got to mention him in the same conversation with Tiger because he went back-to-back.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he is... he is one of maybe the 5 best to ever play the game at this point.
Every great got some dirtiness about their game. I don't care what you're in. I said this often, and it's not disparaging because he's a friggin' Hall of Famer himself. But J.J. Watt would pick and choose where he's going to go beat you up at. If he felt like there was a guy over here that he couldn't take advantage of, here's my candy bar. I'm going to take a bite out of him. Yeah. I think you see the way, not necessarily Myles Garrett, but Myles Garrett goes left to right. See who's in a position in which they can take advantage of guys. You mentioned, if the NFL had a power guy like that, I think they did for a few years in a spurt. I think Tom Brady had that power to be able to, get a call. I'll say this from my perspective in Pittsburgh.
Sure. Right.
We didn't think Ben got the same calls as Tom did.
It's Brady-esque.
It's the Jordan rules.
Yeah, it is.
It's the Jordan rules, and he's using it.
I liked what Ian O'Connor in The Athletic wrote. Golf had its Michael Jordan in Tiger Woods. Rory is Kobe Bryant. Maybe not same level, but the next face of the sport and of the league. Scotty Scheffler is going to be that face for the next generation as well. And I feel like Scotty, in terms of the on-course product, I mean, Scotty, there's no question, is the best player in the world.
Yeah.
It's not close to debatable. But Rory is still the face of the sport.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't choose that in a lot of ways. Part of the way, he did choose that.
Yeah.
I thought actually the bigger deal this weekend was less about his competitive advantage of playing the course more, because all the top players have played that course countless times. Scotty Scheffler's played that course countless times. I thought the bigger deal was the way the course was set up Thursday to Friday.
Yeah.
To where they saw how difficult it played Thursday afternoon for Scotty, and they made the course a bit softer on Friday. Mm-hmm. That seemed to be what Scotty talked a lot about in his pressers to anybody who would listen on Saturday and Sunday, saying like, a lot of this depends on how they want to set up the course, because it was so hard Thursday afternoon that it felt like they gave a little bit of a competitive disadvantage to those guys who had to go Thursday afternoon, because they showed how hard it was and said, oh, we gotta give more scoring opportunities to these guys all day on Friday. So the guys who went off Thursday morning, Friday afternoon had a competitive advantage over the ones who went off Thursday afternoon, Friday morning.
No doubt. You use the NBA reference real quick. So is Scotty Scheffler, is he Jokic? Nikola Jokic?
I don't know.
He's great.
That's honestly a really good comparison.
You know he's great.
Because I think for a lot of people, Scotty is so good, he's boring. And Scotty isn't, he's not getting in trouble other than Louisville PD. He's not. He just is kind of a family guy off the field, like off the court, off the course.
Think about Joker.
Like he's just kind of like shows up, goes to work, goes home, workman-like, good guy. Yeah, I think it's probably a pretty good comparison. I think Scotty's legacy is yet to be written. I think he is talented enough and good enough to have a LeBron James kind of legacy, but. Again, these things aren't always one-to-one comparisons, but Scotty is on his way to being in that Tiger, Jack, Arnie, Rory conversation, and it's incredible how good Rory's been. You got to start putting him in more of those conversations.
I'm a fan of him.
I am too. We're going to have a topic about it in the fourth hour. I don't dislike Rory. Rory gives less of a crap than he did a year ago since he's won the career Grand Slam. And it's been interesting watching him be like, you know what? I did a lot of speaking for the tour. I'm not doing it anymore. Voice of the Vols, Mike Keith, recap spring ball with us coming up next.
United Structural System isn't just another repair company. They're your local foundation of waterproofing experts. They live here. They work here, good people, and they understand exactly how Tennessee soil, the weather, and homes behave, and they absolutely mean it. I don't think you realize, but your house is a living item. It opens up, it closes, it shifts. It does a lot of stuff that we do as human beings, and that's where United Structural Systems comes into place, man. They've been serving homeowners across Tennessee for over 30 years. They have more than 30,000 local homeowners that have trusted USS. That experience means they've seen every type of problems our homes face, and they know how to read those signs too. Every crack or leak has a story to tell you, and USS knows what those signs mean, and they can pinpoint the problems right at the source, whether it's foundation settlement, basement water intrusion, crawl space moisture issues, and more. No guesswork, just expert diagnosing from people who understand Tennessee homes. And the engineering solutions they're slated to last for a very long time. The repair solutions are engineered to stand up to the local conditions. They have an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, and cool part about them working on your home, they have transferable lifetime warranties. Again, local service with long-term protection. You're not just getting repairs, you're getting a peace of mind. So go ahead and book your free home inspection by going to USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com, and make sure you tell them that Ramon sent you. Once a year in the spring, Genesis Diamonds does something incredible. It's a 3-day massive store-wide sale with savings up to 35%. And it's happening April 24th, 25th, and 26th. You can go ahead and mark your calendars. If you've been around here for a while, you know what a big deal this is. Exclusive jewelry designers fly in just for this, with trunk loads of all new trendy designer jewelry from New York to California. The staff at Genesis know they can break all the rules at this event. Whereas big savings on rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets. It's just case after case of mind-blowing deals. And during this event, you can take advantage of extra discounts on natural diamonds and lab-grown diamonds as well. So you can build the ring of your dream and save like never before. Whether it's colored gemstones are also included in this. Designer fashion, one-of-a-kind engagement ring mountings. This is a once-a-year spring store-wide sale where special financing is also available. 3 days, up to 35% off store-wide. And if you're getting engaged this year, celebrating a milestone, or just want to add some amazing jewelry to your collection, this is the sale you cannot miss. April 24th, 25th, and 26th only, and only at Genesis Diamonds. They're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Monday morning on Ramon and Will, 104.5 The Zone. And we always feel fortunate when we hear this music and we're joined by the voice of the Vols, Mike Keith. Ramon, I'm willing to say I think we feel a little extra fortunate this morning.
We do.
Because after the NCAA tournament, after two sports coinciding into one schedule, Mike who joins us now. Mike, I feel like you've probably been in a practice like every day for months now. We cannot thank you enough for joining us today on what is maybe a day for you to breathe and exhale a little bit. So first of all, thank you extra for joining us this morning. How's it going?
Well, thank you. As you can probably tell behind me, if you're able to see this, I'm already at work. We have a lot to talk about here on campus today. Big softball, big baseball, Jackson Harrington playing in the Masters. The spring game just concluded. Basketball portal is underway, and both the men's and women's programs have made some nice leaps. So realistically, what I'm finding is it absolutely never stops here. I mean, maybe like for the 4th of July week or something, but it's crazy. Oh, and by the way, that week will convert to Adidas. So I guess, no, it won't stop.
Good point.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of content that's got to come out that week then as well with all the fireworks.
That's right.
There. Oh, my.
Wow. Mike, as you watch the orange and white game Saturday and Tennessee wraps a bow on spring ball, this defense being ahead of schedule seems to kind of be the storyline of spring, and a number of transfers coming in who already had familiarity with Jim Knowles' system, helping put some of those growing pains at ease. What does that look like practically, Mike? How is this defense ahead of schedule, and what ways did you see that play out Saturday in the spring game?
Well, first of all, I think Jim Knowles learned from his Penn State experience. Leaving Ohio State, going to Penn State, it took the Nittany Lion defense some time to get on the same page with one another. And so having learned from that experience, he brought staff who had been with him in the past, and they went and signed players who had been there in the past. And so getting people in the right places has been helped by that process, and other players being able to watch teammates and to get specific instruction from coaches, I think has helped mightily in the whole process. Plus, I think the fact that Tennessee has done such a good job in the portal at defensive back, that's been something that has already, sort of leaped off the page. They're good at linebacker. They have work to do up front to determine what the rotation is, but the personnel on defense is better. I mean, even with some of the freshmen, the personnel on defense is better to go along with this system. They've all been in place for, over 3 months now, working together, not just in spring practice, but in January and February. So I think all of that has fit together to give them a boost. Now, what you start to get into in camp when you come back in August is who's going to actually play. So far it's been all kinds of rotations, not only on defense, but in the offensive line, at tight end, at wide receiver, at running back, obviously at quarterback. And so how will that defense take shape once it's going against a steadier unit on the other side, and in determining who are the players that will get on the field on September 5 against Furman?
Yeah, that makes sense. And Mike, looking at the biggest conversation everybody also wants to have too is the young quarterbacks. Mike, wasn't a whole lot to really take from the spring game. You saw talent on both sides of it. Ron Staub also in play as well. What was, I guess, your summary of the way those guys ended spring ball?
I think it's incredibly tight, and I think it will go to August incredibly tight. And whomever has the best next 3 months and then carries that into August will win the job. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's settled for either player, either George McIntyre or Faison Brandon. And that's not just company line talk. I think in developing two young quarterbacks, you've got to see where the progression continues. Faison Brandon did some good things in this spring. He obviously didn't have his best day on Saturday. Yet he took care of the football, and we saw how he can run. And I think those were two exciting things. For George McIntyre, better day, better decision-making overall. took care of the football, which is a lesson this defense has taught both of these quarterbacks, which I think is vitally important. And George also showed that he can run. That's a part of his game that I think people will sleep on a little bit that they should not. So, again, I think it is really that tight. I think they are really going to have to battle in May, June, and July in terms of how they prepare, and they're going to have to come out smoking in August because, honestly, I think you've got about 3 weeks to make the determination overall, and that's what both players will have to work with when the team starts practice in early August.
Mike, we're talking about Mike Keith this morning, talking Vols spring game. Mike, I think there's one group that has to carry the water the entire year from the time fall camp opens up, and that is the offensive line. I don't know if there's a more experienced group with talent, with even some of the transfers from West Virginia, from David Sanders Jr. moving to his natural position, to Rory Williams being in competition, Jesse Perry. All across the board, Mike, they have experience. How big of a task is it for this group in Glen Ellerbe to lead, especially, as you just mentioned as well, with the two young freshmen basically at this point with Faison Brandon and George McIntyre behind them?
I think it's the key to the offensive season even more so than the quarterback.
Yeah.
And that may sound like crazy talk, but I think early on you would feel like whomever wins the job at the quarterback position needs to be able to rely on a running game. Mm-hmm. And Tennessee has the backs to run the football. It's up to those guys up front to be able to get out there and open holes and create that. And then obviously, too, to create the comfort level for whichever quarterback ends up taking over and ends up being the guy. He's going to need some protection. The outside has really looked good this spring. There have been moments on the inside where it has not looked as good, where Jim Knowles' defensive linemen, obviously Rodney Gardner's offensive linemen more specifically, have done things to work them over inside. Now, is that new technique? Is that the fact that Wendell Moy's not been a part of it due to injury and coming back from a surgery? I don't know. But they've got to put together the best five. Mm-hmm. Does that mean Perry goes out to right tackle and they feel good about the interior three? Does that mean they shift the guards? Does that mean somebody from guard shifts to center and Pendleton goes to guard? I don't know. I mean, that's the Glen Ellerbe decision. But to me, the start of the season for the offensive line, particularly as you move toward a real game in week 2 with Georgia Tech, and then in week 4 with Texas coming to town, they've got to get that business handled in a hurry.
Mike Keith, our guest this morning on Ramon and Will. Mike, Brent Hubbs had a great piece on VolQuest about how Jim Knowles has thrown the kitchen sink at Tennessee's quarterbacks because Joey Halsley and Josh Heupel believe in having the kitchen sink thrown at their quarterbacks. And there are different schools of thought on this, as you know, on coaches that want confidence and want vanilla for their quarterbacks. Right. And then there are ones who say, no, throw them in the deep end and see who can swim and who can figure it out. How has Jim Knowles challenged George McIntyre, Faison Brandon, and how impactful do you think that's already been for this Tennessee offense?
First of all, let me credit Josh Heupel and Joey Halsley for the fact that they told Jim Knowles, bring it. Just bring it from the start. That, no limitations, no we're going to put kid gloves around these guys and, make sure they're wrapped in styrofoam to get them to August and make them feel good about themselves. Just bring it. And I think there were 2 reasons for that. Number one, Heupel and Halsley want to see what Jim Knowles does against this sort of offense. They want to learn what the chess moves are in this offseason against a defense that brings this kind of pressure. Some of this has given Tennessee problems over the last couple years. And so they want to be as up to date as they possibly can be about what alterations they need to make. That's something that has really impressed me about Josh Heupel in the time that I've been here, is the way that he has been willing, with changes in his route tree, with changes in motion, with changes in a lot of the things that he does offensively, and then taking it a step further this year having this new talented defensive coordinator to challenge his offense. For both of the quarterbacks, they haven't seen any of this. George McIntyre played in 2 games in mop-up duty last year. Faison Brandon was in high school. So they've not seen it. Better to let them see it now and be able to go back to the film room than to see it when Georgia Tech invites them to Bobby Dodd Stadium coming up on September 12th, or Texas comes here on September the 26th. Better to see how they'll react, better to see how they'll adjust. And I think it's been important for both players. I'll go back to something that I said right off the top when describing McIntyre and Brandon's performance on Saturday. Gentlemen, they took care of the football. And there was not a lot of plays where you thought, oh, the defense is going to be able to make a play on this ball. If it's not there, it's not there. Throw it too far to the outside. Throw it in a low area where only the receiver can get it. Taking care of the football is job one for the quarterback. We've all heard it since the beginning of time. And both of those players, I think from the experience of going against this Jim Knowles defense, have had that reinforced. You don't want them to become Charlie Checkdown. I get that. But at the same time, you want them to be cognizant of how important the football is and possession of the football is. And I thought both players had advanced in what I saw of practice throughout the time into the spring game on Saturday.
Mike, I can admit to you I have a pair of sunglasses, numerous ones that are just orange tinted, okay? I just love looking and seeing a sea of orange, okay? With that being said, I came here earlier on this show and I was speaking about this defense and how you saw them disguise and blitz from every angle available. And not just that, but the back end of that Vols defense in the spring game was just sticky. Mike, if you could, can you give us what you saw this past weekend on just the way the defense looked? And they seem to be, as you said just a second ago with this Jim Knowles defense, they seem to have their foot just plowed to the bottom of the gas pedal and how they were able to just execute. Is that how you saw it as well?
It is, and that's what we've seen in practice. I think adding T.J. Metcalf into the safety position, seeing Edris Farouk play the way he's played in this defense, seeing Ty Redmond at corner, and then seeing several guys rotate through at different spots, being able to play the nickel or competing for the other corner spot. Trey Poteet in his sophomore year is a guy who has really come on. And, he got a lot of playing time in the bowl game. And getting to see Poteet have this opportunity in the spring and take that next step from freshman to sophomore in not only the defense, in not only the secondary play, but in Derek Owings' offseason program. I think if the Vols don't have as much depth right now in the defensive line, that's okay. Because if the secondary's playing this well, then quarterbacks are going to have to hold the football. And that's what you want to see. The other thing that I like, too, is we're seeing how Jim Knowles is going to situationally play people. He's got linebackers he likes to bring in on 2nd and long or 3rd and long. He's got safeties that he likes to bring in obvious rundowns. He's even got a player like Mike Bethea. Let me give you him as an example. Mike Bethea is 6'1" and weighs about 220. He's a transfer from Maryville College, got a scholarship. Mike Bethea is a special teams demon, but he's got real speed. Well, what if you bring Mike Bethea into the game on obvious pass rush situations and just say, hey, go crazy. Just do a Dwight Freeney right here and run as fast as you can to go hit the quarterback. He can't play every down at the Leo, but could he play on 3rd and 17? Sure he could. He can also cover the pass a little bit if you wanted to drop him. So they're able to find all of these roles. It's almost as if, baseball, where you go with a defensive replacement or a pinch hitter in a certain situation, or the pitcher that you use to bring in to get one out, to get this one type of right-hand hitter out. That's sort of what Jim Knowles has got. And guys, I think that's part of what has the defense buzzing is everybody's got a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they're going to have to figure out, how that works and how all those pieces fit together. But when you have all these guys motivated in this way, man, they fly around to the football. And I think that's the part of his defense that is really extra special is he has the ability to find places to use different sorts of talents.
Mike, on the way out, I love all of that. I also loved seeing a power tee in Augusta, Georgia over the weekend. I know you love golf the way that I do. How cool is it seeing Fridge, as he is known, and Dickson County's finest, Jackson Harrington, represent over the weekend?
I thought he was fantastic. I mean, to tie for low amateur in the way that he did and to play with as much confidence as he did. I mean, he's a sophomore. He's just 19 years old. And to have him not only represent Dickson County, the state of Tennessee, and this great Tennessee golf program the way he did was extra special. And I think it speaks to where golf at the University of Tennessee is going. For years and years, the best players in the state went somewhere else. That was just how it was. They went somewhere else. And only on the rare occasion did the home state guys stay with the Tennessee program. Now it's much more common. And what Brennan Webb has built here is shown up in the fact that a guy like Jackson Harrington could go play not only that well, but with that kind of poise that he did. And that's developed not only through his parents and his background, but also through what he's getting here in the competition on a day in, day out basis on this team. They're having a really good year again, and they're going to have a chance to compete for some big things in the weeks to come. And really proud of him and proud what he was able to do for himself, for his family, and obviously for his home county and for the University of Tennessee.
I love it. Good stuff.
That's good stuff.
Voice of the Vols, Mike Keith, with us this morning. Mike, thank you again for stopping by. College athletics is truly never ending. So we appreciate you making time for us on a busy day again.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Mike Keith with us here today. Seeing a power tee in Augusta is something you always see in the gallery.
Yeah.
And I was telling Peyton yesterday, I was like, if I can ever go, I'm going to wear so much Tennessee orange because I want to be that guy who's in the back of someone's shot. Like someone's at the pine straw and you just see a power tee. Like every year, there's a power tee.
Jabari Juice Davis was there. He had on all his orange.
Josh Dobbs was there.
Was he?
He mentioned that on Twitter. Because Josh Dobbs is a big enough deal, and he's earned this. Where he can tweet out, I need 2 badges at the Masters. I'm flying myself down there. And then at the end of the day, tweets pictures of him holding 2 bags of merch and says, mission accomplished.
Of course.
Just imagine being able to live like that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Freaking quarterbacks, man.
I love it. Good stuff, though, from Mike. Again, Ramon, the story of spring ball to me is Jim Knowles has baptized the quarterbacks by fire.
Yeah, he has.
Now we see how they bounce back and respond to that.
This to me is, I feel like I like using the Batman, the Dark Knight Rises. This feels to me like if you're really right-minded, this is like Bane. Like the way he told his story as a child, and like you come out of the darkness because you get it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
You merely adopted the darkness. I was born
facing Jim Knowles. No one knew who I was, so I put on number 15. Coming up.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking for. I threw it off the backboard and you ducked it. Yeah, my boy.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Coming up, we'll talk about more headlines over the weekend on the Vols front. Tennessee baseball broke the back of Mississippi State to keep with Bane. We'll talk about that coming up next. What's up? It's Will Bowling from my friends at Brentwood Hearing Center, who has a team of doctors of audiology committed to providing patients with the most recent hearing device technology. It'll help you when you're out to dinner at a noisy restaurant. Maybe you've been out at the baseball field. You're hearing the people behind you, not the person next to you. In crowded situations, you or someone you know just has trouble communicating a little bit more than you used to. Well, Brentwood Hearing Center can help with that. They've got industry-changing hearing aid technology, which also connects directly to your smartphone and to your television. Give Brentwood Hearing Center a call at 615-377-0420 or visit them online at BrentwoodHearingCenter.com. They're going to get you off the sidelines and back in the game. They are the hearing care provider in Middle Tennessee. 615-377-0420 or online at BrentwoodHearingCenter.com. That's Brentwood Hearing Center. Better hearing, better life. Credit card interest rates are now over 29%, and most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, it's Will Bowling, but here's what homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit cards, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. And here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long, drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage, rates are at near 3-year lows, so act now. Go to loanpronto.com, see how much cash you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 615-499-5780 or visit loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Online at loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. Ramon Will wrapping up hour number 3 here on the program, 615-737-1045. There is some draft intel from Easton Freeze this morning at AZsports.com, which, Ramon, is strong enough for me to pivot on what we were going to talk about in 30 minutes. So we'll do that coming up at 9:20.
Say less then. I'm looking forward to it.
I will say more then and less now.
Kind of like Rory then, if that's okay.
Oh, there you go. Sure. I was very happy when I saw your name pop up on my phone yesterday, which I'm always happy to get a text from Ramon. We text back and forth quite a bit because we're very good friends off air. And I was very happy to see a golf text.
I was in it.
You texted me first of like, oh, here we go. Here we go, Jim. I was like, let's go. This is the impact, part of the impact I've had on you. I would have liked to think that you would already have been watching anyway.
Just lightly, but I didn't have the full understanding of the field like that. Like, you remember last year, I was laughing my behind off at, like, Scotty Scheffler. I'm like, oh, he got ran through a security checkpoint and cop stops. Hey, comply, all that type of stuff. And Scotty's genuinely seems to be a good dude. Like, so learning about the field has been fascinating for me. And I think as somebody that covers sports, you have to be versed in it. But there's just one avenue of sports I'm still trying to conquer, and that is understanding hockey. I was telling somebody this weekend, like, I understand tennis, golf, soccer.
Yeah.
Way more than I get hockey, if that makes sense. And I'm not disparaging hockey. Heck, when I was in Pittsburgh, I felt like being in that city, you live it because of the Penguins. But, yeah, that is one.
Well, tonight is a big night to be locked in on hockey because tonight might be the season.
Is the season?
Preds and Sharks tonight at 7 o'clock.
Ooh.
Yeah. This is our niche sports minute here to wrap up hour 3. We'll get baseball, hockey, and soccer in here. What you got, Justin?
Yep. So they have to win in order to stay alive in terms of playoffs. So here's the clinching scenarios. They have to beat San Jose tonight and Anaheim on Thursday in regulation. The Kings, who are 1 point ahead of Nashville and have a game in hand, they have to lose one game in regulation or they have to lose at least one game in overtime, so they can only get 1 point out of the game.
Okay.
LA finishes with no more than 3 points in their last 3 games.
Okay.
So that's basically one regulation loss, one overtime loss, and one win is essentially what they have to go.
Preds got to win, and the Kings got to lose.
For Anaheim,
got it.
Anaheim is third in the Pacific Division right now.
Yes.
They are sliding, but the Kings could overtake them.
Oh.
And here's that case. Anaheim loses in regulation to Minnesota, and Nashville on Thursday beats Anaheim in regulation. So there's a lot that has to be on the table here. The Preds just have to take care of their business and hope that other things work out.
Perfect.
And Justus Anunen, I don't even know how to say his last name. I try so much.
Anunen? I don't know.
Anunen.
I think that's it.
He has overtaken UC Saros as the starter. It looks to be like there's officially a goalie controversy in Nashville. Puts a lot of things into question. He started over Saros on Saturday.
Ride the hot hand.
The Preds got the win 2-1 on Saturday. I don't know if Saros is going to start tonight.
Wow. Okay.
I think there's officially a controversy, and there could be some talks in the offseason about moving on potentially.
I mean, at this point, like,
what can you really do?
Value.
Yeah.
What you do about it is put it on it. Yeah.
Do what?
What you do is put in the other guy, which they were doing.
It's like what we talked about last week after the Preds won 5-0 when Justus was in the crease.
Yeah, right. And like the best goalie performance of any goalie this year.
Had 43 saves.
Analytics,
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Ride the hot hand is what I was saying.
How many shots did they take on him then? Jeez Louise.
43.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he shut him out. So 43 shots. I like it. Tennessee baseball with a sweep of Mississippi State over the weekend. Yeah. Man, I know our guy Lonzo hates Tennessee so much in the F and Bank chat. I can see why. Mississippi State, there's been a whole world pandemic that shut down the world, and the world got shut down, and then we turned the lights back on, we unplugged the world, we blew on the disc, then put it back in the station, and Mississippi State still hasn't beaten Tennessee in baseball. 12 in a row for Tennessee baseball against Mississippi State, and all of a sudden, Tennessee's one game under 500 in the SEC. It's incredible how quickly the narrative changes on one good weekend. Josh Elander used the word massive, said it was massive, turning point. Needs to be a mojo change for our guys to know wherever we go play in this league, we've got a chance to be in the game. The bottom of the order was outstanding. Jay Abernathy had a couple RBIs in the Saturday win. You had production and homers from Levi Clark, Reese Chapman getting going a little bit. The starting pitching, though, was absolutely tremendous. Tremendous from Tennessee with Tegan Coons going late into the Saturday win. Evan Blanco was terrific yesterday. And then again, Cam Appenzeller, after a short start from Landon Norris on night one, Cam Appenzeller is a dude.
I heard about his last pitch.
He is a dude.
Ball
oh, my God.
had the speed and the movement.
Back, not Norris.
That just made your knees buckle on how he ended that game on Friday night.
And then he waved to the crowd goodbye.
Yeah.
Like the Tennessee baseball showed a little bit of swagger for the first time since Josh Elander took over.
So I was thinking.
And it's a really good thing to see them, again, like reports of their demise were greatly exaggerated. We've made the point all year that wait till April and let's just have a full opinion once the season is over. There can be warning signs, but at the end of the day, some of those were just warning signs. Drew Beam tweeted it out a couple weeks ago. That 2023 team made Omaha and started 5-10 in SEC play. This team is 7-8 in SEC play. There is a lot of ball left.
Yeah, and maybe this is the mindset that Elander has to have for this squad. Like, I think Tony played that part like a villain and also backs against the wall because everybody's at you, like, to a T. Like, he played it perfectly, and I feel like they just went into a different lane, of course, because it's Josh Elander's team now. And, of course, the guys that Tony has recruited, that's how they operate, is backs against the walls. Everybody knows that we're the jerks that you don't love, and they need to play and assume it that way, especially when you go down to Starkville and kiss to the crowd on Friday night, knowing that you got 2 more games. Like, that's the mentality and mindset that you have to have if you're going to play for the Vols like that.
Nashville SC, huge 2-1 victory at Charlotte on Saturday night. Charlotte, who had not lost at home. Charlotte, who led in goal scoring at home. Took them till the 90th minute to get a penalty kick goal. Nashville rotated a lot of its lineup. Hani Mukhtar, Sam Surridge, Christian Espinoza did not start this game, and Eddie Taxith got his first Nashville SC goal. Happy for the Norwegian nuisance. Finding the back of the net for the first time in Nashville colors. A golazo, as we would call it, from downtown. And, man, Nashville is thriving in a spot where a lot of teams are just trying to survive. Playing CONCACAF Champions Cup. They play tomorrow night at 10:30 p.m. Central Time. 10:30 p.m. Central Time.
How do you even plan for that?
I don't know. It's a great question. And even when the names and faces in the lineup change, the quality and the level doesn't. That's really, really rare in this sport. And Nashville still is top of the Eastern Conference. Big win Saturday night.
No doubt.
Coming up, we got a little bit of news this morning from Ian Rappaport on a prospect who visited with the Titans last week. A big name, a big fish in the pond, who could be the pick at number 4. We'll tell you who was in town and why you should care in Hour 4 coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Medical House Calls. If you are just now coming off that weekend and feel like, hey, I need a way to bounce back so that I feel good, well, Medical House Calls is a company that you need to go to. You can go to the website, medicalhousecalls.com, or call or text them at 615-838-2375. The only reason I bring up making you feel better because they do mobile IV therapy wherever you are. IV therapy is the best at getting you back to your best self, from fighting the flu to performance-enhancing cocktails, their nurses will come to your door and administer an IV to help you get better and feel better fast. Also, if you're just feeling fatigue or got a persistent illness or injury, difficulty focus or being productive, there's an IV therapy for you. Athletic recovery, immune boosting blends, rapid rehydration for you all-night partiers. They have what you need to get you back to where you are. But it's not just that. They have at-home urgent care as well. For a flat fee, you can get an evaluation, full exam, and treatment plans if you need it, and prescriptions. Also, simply head over to medicalhousecalls.com or call or text them at 615-838-2375.
9:04, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Rory Mroy is Masters champion, becomes the fourth all-time to win the Masters in back-to-back years. First to do it since Tiger Woods did it, 2001 and 2002, joining Jack Nicklaus and Nick Faldo as well. McIlroy let a 6-stroke lead slip on Saturday, but held off Scotty Scheffler, who shot 11 under between Saturday and Sunday to finish second at 1 stroke back. The Nashville Predators kept their playoff hopes alive over the weekend after a solid 2-1 win over the Minnesota Wild on Saturday. Steven Stamkos and Matthew Wood tallied the goals for the Nashville Predators, and Justus Annunen made 21 saves in the win. The Predators, with just 2 games remaining, back on the ice tonight, facing the San Jose Sharks with a 7 o'clock puck drop tonight at Bridgestone Arena. Nashville Soccer Club, they remain atop the East standings in the MLS play with 16 points on the year after a 2-1 win on Saturday night against Charlotte FC. Eddie Tagseth and Patrick Yazbek scored for Nashville. Next up is the second leg of the CONCACAF Champions Cup quarterfinals against Club America tomorrow night in Mexico City, with first kick set at 10:30 p.m. Central Time. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Fourth and final hour of the show as 9 a.m. gets started here on 104.5 The Zone. Some reporting from Ian Rappaport this morning says that a prime Titans target was just in town last week, Ramon.
I'm here for it.
Rap Sheet on Twitter, Ian Rappaport of NFL Media and now ESPN. Texas Tech edge David Bailey, a likely top 5 pick who is among those in consideration at 2, had a top 30 visit with the Titans last week. Source said they pick number 4.
Hey, now.
Okay, there you go. Edge rusher in town, no surprise that they were visiting with him, but maybe being ready for the contingency of if all the smoke is wrong and that he's not the pick at number 2 to the New York Jets.
Listen, and here's the thing. David Bailey has to take this trip. The Titans are in a position that they could absolutely select him as well. I know some guys control the narratives about where they go because they don't want to be overly tired or overextend themselves when it comes down to the pre-draft just visits and how much they're trying to make sure they can work out and everything else too. But the Titans are a team that could pick him. Now, if he gets to 4, that's going to be a hard decision right there based upon the other players that could be available. Could be Jeremiah Love. Could be, well, we know it'll be Ruben Bane at this point moving forward. Now, Sonny Styles is a part of it, and just so on and so forth. Like I said, the Arizona pick is going to be fascinating to me. A lot of people are, alluding to the fact that the Cowboys, well, some people are alluding to the fact that the Cowboys could move up. Will there be a player in this draft that forces you to move up and creates an opportunity for the Titans to take David Bailey? So is he the most pure rusher of the group? I think the answer is probably yes.
Most pure pass rusher of the group, I would say absolutely.
Absolutely. And that's such a premium position. If he's the guy that we think he is, that the Titans could benefit. Heck, anybody can benefit from him, especially in this Robert Saleh defense.
Yep. Some reporting from Easton Freeze this morning we're going to get to coming up here in 15 minutes about what the Titans' preference he believes is at 4 and the one thing blocking the Titans from getting their way at 4th overall, which I think is very interesting. But we hit the big headline here to start hour 4, Ramon, that Rory McIlroy won the Masters.
Yes, sir.
And he's the 4th ever to go back-to-back. Is there an athlete for you that you don't really hate but you don't really like? Because for me, that's Rory. I don't have a major hatred of Rory McIlroy. I don't have a strong opinion on him. But I'm also far from his biggest fan. I think he's just kind of fine. I think he's a little played out at this point, meaning I have Rory McIlroy fatigue.
Wow, that's a great question.
He has been at the forefront of all things live PGA, some of that by his choice, some of that not by his choice. I think he is a good ambassador for the game of golf. I tend to think he's a pretty good person. Mm-hmm. I'm just kind of tired of him. Do you have anyone that you're like that with?
Yeah, and it's because of my childhood and nostalgia.
Okay.
By the way, I like I like Rory a lot. I felt like I've always have. I remember when he came into the league and took the PGA game from Tiger, essentially. And, like, he was supposed to be the next guy. Nike still rocking him. Like, he got everything that Tiger lost when Tiger had his first issue that he was dealing with the golf club up to the head. But that's neither here. It's neither here nor there. The guy to me, and this is going to sound crazy, I like him. I don't want to say I dislike him. I like him. I don't love him as people in this generation do choose to love him. And you know who it is? LeBron James.
I think you're not alone in that opinion.
A bigger Jordan fan.
Yeah.
And I respect LeBron's greatness. I was actually listening to Buck and Jason Fitz this morning coming into work, and they were discussing this as well. Like, LeBron's done everything that you could have asked him to do. I don't love him as much as I love Jordan or Kobe, but I recognize the greatness that LeBron James is. It's just that I don't love, like, Black Rob, who we have on Thursdays now.
Robert Ayers.
You can't tell Robert Ayers that LeBron James is not the greatest to ever do it. And in a lot of conversation, he is. So much so that, like, I've seen him and others. There's a LeBron cult to be like, you guys are dumb for thinking that Jordan is even close to LeBron. And that is a great stance, a great argument to have. I respect people that stand on that one, but I'm going to choose Jordan and Kobe over LeBron in that conversation right there. And I can acknowledge LeBron's got more points. He's gotten more years. He's checked every box. He's been everything from the chosen one on the magazine to up to playing 20-plus years in the NBA. But I'm going to choose Jordan over LeBron, and I just can't love him as much as I do MJ.
Fair.
I've always been a really big LeBron fan, but I'm not a big fan of his antics. Just kind of leave it on the court and just stop the whining and the crying and the not getting back on defense. I love LeBron. He's been my favorite basketball player since I got into the NBA. But for me, I'm going to stick with the NBA, and it's Gilgeous-Alexander.
Shai Gilgeous? Yeah. Really? SGA?
He's a fantastic ball player, but the fouls and it's exhausting.
Foul merchant.
I grew up playing soccer, played it for 20 plus years. I was never this guy to take the dives, to get fouled. Like, if you foul me, you're going to have to earn the foul, right? Because I don't want to go down. He does that as kind of like soccer, how you take a dive. It's obvious they don't always get the calls. It's exhausting to watch him play because of how many times he's going to make a trip to the foul line. It's not a very fun product to watch, but he is. If he's not getting fouled, he is a fantastic ball handler. He can find anybody on the court to get the ball to. He's a hell of a playmaker. I just don't like the antics and the fouls that result from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like it's
kind of like James Harden in a way too.
It's one of those things where, like, this is not the person you hate, because everyone has, like, villains of, like, athletes that they're just like, oh, it's just I can't stand that guy. Like, I don't hate Rory.
Yeah.
I just don't love him either. I'm just kind of like who in sports are you indifferent on?
In the golf world, I would say I like Rory's pathway of him continually fighting and persevere through to get to the point that he wanted to, and that's the pinnacle for golf, is the Masters. And I love the journeys that guys go on like that as well. And to be quite honest with you, LeBron has as well. We're switching sports and stuff like this, right? Like, I get it. And I'm looking at it right now as well as we're having back and forth discussions in there. RT Blaze are there to be like, Bron is the GOAT, Ramon. Like, yeah, you're right. I respect your opinion. And, like, I'm not sure if Rory's a GOAT when it comes down to golf, right? But he's most definitely a HOF. Like, he's a Hall of Fame golfer right now, most definitely. I just view when we having these conversations about, like, I like him but don't love him, like, I'm probably a bigger Tim Duncan fan than LeBron. But I love LeBron. I've had the shoes. I followed their career. Not as close as the others. And again, like I said, mine is probably more childhood with how I'm viewing these guys versus this new era. But I will say this, though, too. I'm an attitude guy when it comes down to it.
Sure.
Right now, to me, the hottest player on my big board, Anthony Edwards. I'm a fan in the biggest way.
Fun.
He's so fun.
Yeah, he is.
And maybe as Hawk brought up the antics of what Bron is, and here's the other part. Bron gets beat up. LeBron James gets beat up bad. And he absolutely bodies people in everything that he's doing in the NBA still at 41 years old.
That's why he doesn't want to stay in the hotel in Memphis.
He's 41. He's staying in the Westin.
Apparently not. His words, not mine.
Yeah.
And we gave our full take on that a couple weeks ago.
I'm just saying, I've even shot. See, Savage, this is what you get when you want us to talk ball. He said, wow, Savage, yes. Tim is up there for me. And here's the other part, though,
Big
too.
fundamental.
Savage, like, again, I'm prefacing this by, like, it hits me in the feels because when Renardo, our older brother, Ron and I's older brother, well, my older brother, Ron's younger brother, were playing together in high school. We were the Twin Towers. David Robinson, Tim Duncan. So I grew to that. I understood what that was, too. It's not just, hey, I'm dismissive of whatever LeBron has done. It's just that I have an attachment to the reason why. And Tim's also a multi-world champion.
Well, he's one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, he's a GOAT.
Yeah.
Easily a GOAT.
For sure. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I just I had the feeling yesterday watching the final round of the Masters, feeling like I woke up on Christmas morning and I was a kid that got socks.
Yeah.
Having Rory win again.
No.
That's kind of what it felt like.
I was excited.
Yeah, socks again. Yeah, okay.
Now I would be excited for socks. Like, heck yeah, I lose mine all the time. Let's freaking go, boys. But I don't know. It just I wanted Cam Young because again I know when I picked Cam Young Thursday and we talked about it. I love Cam Young. I just wish somebody could have made a birdie putt to like put a little bit of pressure on Rory. That way he had to kind of go for it.
It's too good.
And he played so conservatively, and then he hooked his, or I guess he sliced it. He's a righty.
I heard Jason
Lefties are
Fitz
better,
this
but-
morning speaking on it with Buck. He said it's just like Russell Westbrook having a season where he averaged a triple-double, and everybody's like, wow. And then he did it again, and nobody talked about it.
Yeah, it's just like kind of like, oh, okay, Rory wins again. All right, what's next? When's the U.S. Open? When's PGA? Let's go.
In another sport, is Messi like that to you?
No, Messi is more like Tiger Woods. Messi's the GOAT. It's another good GOAT discussion that gets the people going a little bit between him and Ronaldo. But Messi is, and there are a lot of people that don't like Messi too. But,
I know.
In his prime at Barcelona, it was more like Tiger Woods' run in the 90s and 2000s. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah,
But it's good for the sport, and I love golf, and it's good for the sport to have Rory be at the top.
Savage, but Rob, us in our YouTube chat. Yeah, let's go back to hockey.
Coming up, we're not going to go back to hockey. We're going to go back to Titans discussion because there is draft intel from Easton Freeze that he has written at A2ZSports.com this morning that I find very interesting about the Titans' preference. Coming up next. What's up? It's Will Bowling for my friends at Fleet Feet Nashville. Fleet Feet is more than a running store. It is a resource and community hub for runners and walkers of all ages and experience levels, from first-time walkers to marathoners. Fleet Feet's belief is simple. Running changes lives, and their goal is helping people move comfortably and confidently no matter where they're starting. This is what makes Fleet Feet different. Fleet Feet Nashville, they offer personalized shoe fittings using advanced 3D foot scanning technology, Fit ID. I've got my new pair of shoes I got on today, and I also have the right inserts in the shoes that they were able to hook me up with. And I'm telling you what, I was on my feet all weekend. It makes a world of a difference having the right fit. Whether you're running, whether you're just on your feet at work, whether you want to get involved but don't know where to start, Fleet Feet Nashville is the place to start. They've got run clubs, they've got coaching, they've got the best possible gear that you can get to get started on the right foot. Green Hills, Brentwood, Cool Springs, Hendersonville, Mount Juliet, and Murfreesboro. There is a Fleet Feet Nashville near you, or check them out online, fleetfeetnashville.com. That's Fleet Feet Nashville online at fleetfeetnashville.com. We are a week and a half away from the 2026 NFL Draft. This time next week, we will be in draft week. Praise God, right?
I know, right? Finally there.
In a lot of ways, it has felt like a marathon. In a lot of ways, at the blink of an eye, it's just here this year.
There you go.
I want to talk about the need for linebacker and where that is on the list of priorities. As this week we look more at those off-ball linebacker options, and that's what we'll do with Rhett on Wednesday. And that's what we talked about with Stony Keely earlier this morning. If you missed it, you can download the Ramon Will podcast wherever you download podcasts. But I did want to hit on this piece from Easton Freeze at A2ZSports.com this morning that says there is draft intel making a Titans dream scenario lining up with one big problem still in the way. Easton Freeze is suggesting that David Bailey or Arvell Reese remains plan A. And Jeremiah Love is still very much plan B.
Arvell Reese and David Bailey is A.
Where I think this gets really interesting is the smoke to David Bailey going 2 to the Jets legit, or someone trying to mislead us within the Jets organization? I tend to think it's legit, and that it's Jets taking David Bailey. Easton writes about this morning. Says, let's first establish the problem before this past week of intel. An assumption for some time has been that the Jets will take an edge at 2, and this was likely to be Arvell Reese. That would leave David Bailey on the board for the Cardinals at 3, who can easily justify an edge or tackle. Easton says, my strong suspicion, based on the conversations I've had, was that they'd take Bailey because he is who they'd have graded the highest, thus leaving the Titans out of luck on these two. Here's what's changed. Almost everybody in the draft industry believes the Jets will take David Bailey at 2 instead of Arvell Reese. Easton says, perhaps they like him better, perhaps they want somebody who is certain to play edge, or perhaps they like the idea of a guy who they know exactly how to use. Reese will require a creative plan to maximize. Whatever the case, basically every insider in the game has come out in the past 7 days and said they believe it will be Bailey at 2. So let's just act as if that is a foregone conclusion. That would leave Reese for the Cardinals at 3, Easton says, and we have a clearer picture today on what Arizona is apparently thinking. We know tackle and edge are the biggest needs on this roster that make sense here. Reports indicate they'd really like a bookend tackle, but don't see one who would be a strong value to take all the way up at 3rd overall. Francis Maui Noah is the lineman most often mocked, but he isn't a prospect everyone agrees on. Meanwhile, there appears to be at least some concern about another tweener on defense in Arizona. And we talked about this a little bit last week. The Cardinals took Isaiah Simmons, 8th overall in 2020. He did not pan out. He didn't even pan out to first-round pick level, and he was picked 8th overall.
Traded quickly, if I'm not mistaken.
So Easton says the Cardinals took chess piece Isaiah Simmons 8th. He flamed out pretty hard relative to his draft investment. Reese is a different, and I would argue better, he says, prospect. But that hesitation has to exist nonetheless. So maybe Arvell Reese gets to the Titans at 4 overall. The Jets are going a different direction at 2. The Cardinals are hesitant to take him at 3. Well, not so fast. The problem here is that whether the Cardinals take him at 3 or not, it feels exceedingly likely that someone will take Arvell Reese at 3. There's been a lot of talk about the Cowboys trading up from 12 to 3 to take Arvell Reese. Could the Titans trade up a single spot? Perhaps. He says, but I doubt Mike Bergonzi wants to pay strong on a single spot when he needs more picks, not less. All that to say, we got to start comparing Jeremiah Love to Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles and Carnell Tate. It's either Jeremiah Love or it feels like 3 Ohio State players, Ramon, at 4 for the Tennessee Titans.
Man, that's a lot of movement right there. That changes the entire draft. From a Titans perspective, in my opinion, because you're left with the plethora of talent. Like, this is one of the most talented, I guess, clusters that you could have to be picking at this point. Now it's a matter of what you feel like is the long-term solution for you. As they said, as Easton said too, when you look at Arvell Reese is in a position athletically where coaches have to be smart, because a dumb coach or dumb staff can mess around and have him playing out of position, not knowing where to put him. Will he be how fast will he accelerate his talent to be able to figure out the NFL too? Because if he's not an edge rusher, how many reps are you going to put him out there? And how long will you let him fail before saying, no, we can't primarily put him on the edge? Defensively, if you already got players in place that in positions that Arvell Reese wants to play, like inside linebacker, you have guys. So you got Cody Barton. You also got Cedric Gray, right? Are you going to put him in place of Cody Barton? If so, why are you keeping Cody Barton? What about the edge side of it as well? There's so many different issues that can come up on draft night. But here's the other part, though, too. This exercise is probably being played out inside of the war room now. They have to. This is the last week of this process, and I'm sure because I've heard this, they will go through a simulation of almost every scenario that they possibly can. Like the coaches probably aren't seeing their families much at all right now. And it's a matter of where you feel like this team needs to be going. I almost want to use needs to be going other than want to be drafting at the position, because, again, Jeremiah Love provides a lot. One thing I think Zach Lyons brought up this past Friday when he was on with us, it was this. When you look at what Saquon did for Daniel Jones in New York, amazing things. If you look at Jonathan Taylor and what he did for Daniel Jones in Indianapolis, amazing things. What Saquon has done for Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, amazing things, right?
Todd Gurley and Jared Goff in L.A., Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott in Dallas. Like, I don't think there's a number value you can put on the threat of a run game.
The threat, and especially where Cam is also learning this new offense. Yeah. I don't doubt he's going to have everything in his mind on what this offense needs you to do, but every Batman needs a Robin. And that's where I guess the conversation of Jeremiah Love plays the highest. Mm-hmm. Who on this offense legitimately will, can I say this too, publicly, as far as nationally being able to say, oh, this is the Cam and. Do you respectfully think it would be the Cam and a Robinson show? Cam and the Calvin show? Cam and who? Cam and Love seems to me like you win the public court of opinion with the star power.
Does that matter?
Yes, it absolutely does matter.
Should it?
It shouldn't, but it will. Because if you can match them up, and it's not just the Cam show. I think that was the biggest issue last year team presented, if that makes sense. And it shouldn't. To your point, Will, that shouldn't matter. But every team that's good got a and guy.
Yeah.
A Robin is what I mean.
I find it interesting that the way Easton frames this is that their top choice, their dream scenario, is David Bailey or Arvell Reese falling to them at 4. I was always curious if maybe there was a world where somebody would trade up for Arvell Reese if they got there at 4. Sounds like the Titans would not be willing to take those offers. They would just go ahead and take him. Is there a world, and I'm just spitballing here, where this comes out because they want Dallas to move up to 3 and take Reese so they can get Love at 4? Like, if you really loved Jeremiah Love, doesn't it make sense for you to talk about how much you love the 2 edge rushers and tempt someone to come snag the edge rushers in front of you? That way you have a clearer path to Love?
It's positioning.
I mean, because Washington's sitting there as a team that could use running back, who people have had moving up to even the Titan spot. I saw that from someone yesterday. Like, I don't know. I'm probably overthinking that a little bit. I do believe that this organization is led by people who believe in positional value. Not to a fault, not to a positional value or bust. Because obviously they're also, I think, willing to take Jeremiah Love, considering the amount of love that they have from everything that we know. But that's interesting to me that their top choice would still be Reese or Bailey. Yeah. Just from the way this is framed. This is one person supporting, just someone we tend to trust and think knows their stuff.
Right.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So the belief is, from what Easton's writing, is that someone's taking Arvell Reese at 3. If, let's just say for the sake of discussion, Ramon, you have an option between, let's just put it to 2. Let's take Sonny Styles and Carnell Tate just for the sake of this conversation out of the equation.
Yep.
Who would you rather pick between Jeremiah Love or Arvell Reese?
I'm probably taking Jeremiah Love.
I would take Jeremiah Love.
I'm taking Jeremiah Love.
I would take Jeremiah Love for what he does for your quarterback, because right now you are still in the position as a rebuilding franchise where, when in doubt, when all things are equal, the health and the value and the progression of your quarterback is the most important thing for this organization right now.
So, to that point, one of the biggest conversations I've had is just the longevity of the running back position at a non-premium spot. When it boils down to how you try to plan your team. And what I mean by that is you want your guys to always be your guys at every turn. They cash the check for you. They answer every Sunday. And taking a running back number 4 overall, as I am looking this up, like top 4 pick in recent history has been Ezekiel Elliott. Dallas got 7 years out of him straight. If you can get 7 years out of Jeremiah Love, the pick is a success. If you get 4 years plus the option, depending on if he doesn't get an extension, that means he hasn't lived up to the hype. I almost feel like you set yourself up with that position because it's predicated on other guys around him, like the offensive line, the quarterback play being a threat, being where you can have a soft enough box where they can defend or they can operate offensively plays a part too. If you're telling me that he can get 7 straight years out of his career the way Zeke did, then I'm okay with that pick. That's where picking between Arvell Reese and Jeremiah Love can be problematic. Who has the longer standing chance of being successful in this organization, even with the talent?
I'll take it one step further. Who has the bigger chance, though, of helping your quarterback? Because even if Jeremiah Love is here for 5 years and then goes to Philadelphia, you always get what he did for Cam Ward in those 5 years. You always benefit from Cam learning how to take layups. Albert Breer wrote about that at SI late last week. Cam Ward is the type of quarterback that's got to learn how to take layups. What kind of layups do you often take as a quarterback? Check downs to a really good running back. Angle routes on 3rd and 4 against a linebacker and man coverage that allow you to get a mismatch. Like, that's Jeremiah Love. Yeah. Jeremiah Love helps teach Cam Ward to take the right risks, take the right chances, and not hold on to the ball too long. Like, I just think that's the benefit here. Creating good habits for a quarterback that shows promise and now needs more poise. Jeremiah Love makes your offensive line better by putting you in less 3rd and chain situations, I think. I think Jeremiah Love makes you less predictable because you don't have to take him off the field on 3rd down. You leave him out there and he could run it or he could pass it. And the biggest thing is I think he makes your quarterback better because there is a threat not named Cam Ward that's now standing in the backfield. And that's something that Cam, with all due respect to Tony Pollard, who is as hard a worker as there is, and I think has given the Titans some good years as a vet. And he gives a crap. He cares. He's a solid running back. We saw how good Cam was, though, when there was a real threat of a running game the last 5 weeks of the season. Can we get that for all 18? Because if so, now I think the outlook changes for how good Cam can be next season.
It does. So just looking at the Cowboys' pathway before getting Zeke, in 2015, they were 4-12. They get Zeke. They go on to become 13-3. Like, it can do numbers for you with he and Dak in that position that they were at the time, too. It adds stardom quickly. I don't think you get that as quick with defensive players, not to this magnitude. If the Titans don't take Jeremiah Love and he's available, I wonder how they will judge this draft if they choose to go Arvell Reese or Sonny Styles over Jeremiah Love.
That's a good point, because this fan base is smitten.
Very much so.
But they shouldn't care about that.
I know they shouldn't, but
nor do they, I don't think.
You brought up a point that I thought was very valid.
Yeah.
The running game side of this, considering the center position still has to be figured out.
Yep.
The right guard position still has to be figured out. Can we be quite honest? J.C. Latham needs to have a way better year. He needs to be more dominant.
Trevor Sickerman made the point on the NFL Stock Exchange podcast that there's one offensive lineman that you know is going to be a Titans offensive lineman in 2 years, currently in this 5.
Wow. That's Peter Skoronski.
Yep. Dan Moore probably has one more year.
Yep.
Austin Schlottman's a total wild card. Mm-hmm. There's no one really at right guard, you feel like. Cordell Volson and Jackson Slater right now. If Jackson Slater's a guard, he might be a center. And then right tackle. Is J.C. Latham still a tackle in 2 years?
Yeah.
I can't 100% say that.
No, I can't. And that to me is why I have some hesitancy about the Jeremiah Love. I'm not afraid to admit it. I have a different perception of running backs than I do almost any other position.
You came from an organization that was just living by the opinion that we need a running back, you can always go find one.
You can always, and it's held true for teams that are in Super Bowl windows. We saw Kansas City win it numerous times.
Sure.
With guys that are less than talent. But that's the part to me where I see a lot of people saying the concern of the OL as well. But he does, respectfully, I don't think Tony has a crazy threat, at least from last year's tape, to the rest of the league the way Jeremiah Love would as far as game planning.
Open for your thoughts on the phone, 615-737-1045. Who would you take between Love and Reese? Easton Freeze seems to suggest that he feels like Arvell Reese or David Bailey would be the Titans' preference in his opinion at this point. What's your preference? We'll get to your thoughts next.
It happens all the time, y'all. You go buy a game day ticket or hotel room, and when you check out, there's a bunch of add-ons and fees that totally change the price. Well, the same thing happens at car dealerships. You see one price online, and then you go to the dealership to find out they've added a bunch of accessories or service plans that you did not know about. Well, I'm here to tell you, not at Two Rivers Ford. At Two Rivers Ford, the price you see online is the price that you pay in person. Everything is transparent and upfront. There is no bait and switch, no funny business. I tell you personally, I've done business with Two Rivers Ford numerous times, man, and they are very honest and upfront. And just by the way, they just do good work. I ended up using the mobile car service where they came and changed my oil at the house. These are just some of the perks that you get when you deal with Two Rivers Ford, man. It's just really good. Just honest pricing from a family-owned dealership. There's a reason Two Rivers Ford has been in Middle Tennessee, award-winning Ford dealer for decades, and I do mean decades. Listen to me. Local, honest, and real. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Ramon Will on 104.5 The Zone. Who do you take between Jeremiah Love or Arvell Reese? That might be the option the Titans have on draft night.
It might be.
If the Arizona Cardinals still go offensive line or trade, maybe somebody takes Jeremiah Love ahead of the Titans at 4. You cool with Arvell Reese?
Yeah.
Let's go to the phones. T-Mac is in Nashville. What's up, T-Mac?
Morning, T-Mac.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
I think they should take Jeremiah Love. And here's why I say this. If you go all the way back to 2007, or actually 2008, when they drafted James Young, they went to the playoffs in 2007. And I remember they played against the San Diego Chargers at the time. Do y'all remember that?
Yes.
Chargers.
Yep.
Okay. At that time, I remember that year, even though the Titans went to the playoffs, they went to the playoffs because they had a decent defense, right? And I remember watching the San Diego Chargers game and thinking to myself, man, the Titans cannot score any points.
Yeah.
We all know what happened in 2008, right? They went 13-3.
Right.
What was the difference? They drafted Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson was kind of that same type of running back where he can, kick out of the backfield and do different things like that. And then they end up going 13-3. So I think that's the difference that having a running back like that can make between, offense being dynamic and then turning the corner. So I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah, thanks for the call, T-Mac. I just don't think you're playing in the same NFL as you were in 2008, though. Like, I understand your point. I understand saying that Chris Johnson was the piece. That was also the number 2 scoring defense of the NFL in 2008. Like, Chris Johnson was the cherry on top, and I do appreciate the sentiment and understanding that, like, yeah, Titans history says take the running back, but I think the league has changed a lot since 2008, and I think that Titans defense 2008 was worlds better than what you have even on paper
And that's
going into 2026.
It's too many unknowns. Like, this defense seems like it's going to be set up to be successful. And what you don't want, to T-Mac's point, is the offense to be dragging.
Yeah. Like, to that point, yes, we are both Jeremiah Love at 4 people, but we've got to have realistic expectations of what Jeremiah Love makes you as a football team. Jeremiah Love does not immediately make you a 13-win team. And I'm not saying that T-Mac wasn't making that point. I'm not going to put words in your mouth. But I think we do have to have the understanding that even if they do take Love, it is a step. I'm not sure it's a leap up to contender just by doing that. It's a step in the right direction. Let's go to Nolan up next. Hey, Nolan.
What's up, Nolan?
Good morning, fellas. What's going on?
Good morning. What's up?
Happy Monday to you.
Man, look, Love got to be the pick, man. Love got to be the pick. Defensive end, always, they got to be developed for the most part anyway. Running back, man, it's either you got it or you don't. You see what I'm saying? And so a lot of people are using the Kansas City Chiefs and what Mahomes is able to do, thinking that, they didn't have, a running back, with their dynasty and their wins and Super Bowls or whatever. But Cam, I like Cam, but Cam have showed that he don't really like to run. You know what I'm saying? He don't really like to run and move the chains. And, Mahomes do that. That's part of his game. That's part of his play. You know what I'm saying? And so because Cam, and he might add that to his game this year, I don't know. But because Cam don't really like to run and move those chains like that, a running back can help him, tremendously.
Yeah.
So and we Gen X, man, running back was very important during our time, man. So I know this is a different NFL, but, hey, running backs are important, man,
Yep, I agree.
Thank you, Nolan. Appreciate
it, Nolan. You got a point about the edge players usually have to be developed versus running back is ready to go. And Jeremiah Love, from all we understand about him, he can pass block, which is usually the number one deficiency of young running backs coming to the league. He's got good vision. He's got good speed. He's a high-caliber, talented athlete as well. He is rip open a package and ready to go.
Plug and play. Big impact.
Big impact.
The kind of guy you put up on the side of new Nissan Stadium, put his picture up and say, this is our guy.
Love train.
People of the world, start a love train. Love train. I just think of that Coors Light commercial.
It is. I love that one with the silver bullet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no doubt. It's this is, I told you, like, I hate this draft process. Because
I like it this year because I don't think there's a bad option.
No, I love
I really don't.
Like, I say I hate
really
it.
don't.
It's like bad being good. Like, I hate it because there are so many different roads that we can go down to discuss what fits this team.
I mean, a couple of years ago, Ramon, there were people high-fiving at a draft party saying, like, thank God it wasn't Levis at 11. I'm serious. There was legitimate, like,
It was.
And I don't see that player this year.
Yeah, it was.
I think any of, it's not always the case where it works out this way, but any of Jeremiah Love, Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, Carnell Tate. I mean, I think maybe the only player now that's going to have people saying, please don't take this guy is Ruben Bane. Between the arm length and now the off-field stuff that we know on the record that people have known apparently for a while off the record.
Yeah, we kind of called that too, that if it wasn't the Titans, he was going to slide.
How far do you think he slides now?
After 13.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting past Baltimore at 14.
Robert Walsh is high.
Right, yeah. Bert will make his case for why he should slide to 14 coming up next on the Buck Reising Show. But I don't think he gets past that point.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think his draft starts at like 14 and after now.
I think he might go 10 to Cincy.
You think he go? Well, yeah, they struck out on the edge rusher last year. Well, first year.
Back at it tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Austin Price scheduled to join us at 8:20. Voice of the Braves on Braves Vision, Brandon Gaudin, going to stop by at 9:20. Got some Braves tickets to give away tomorrow as well. We'll talk to you bright and early, 6 to 10.
But remember, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot, baby.